Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the podcast, of course, the solo podcast. Brian and of course Jay behind the control.
Guys?
What's going on, guys? I
How
hope
you doing
guys are
today?
having. It's been a busy day. There's no doubt about it, but
jam-packed.
but jam-packed, a little bit tired, but it is what it is. It's all good. But I hope you wonderful people out there, are doing amazing, and we can have a good time chatting with one another. As always, I'm going to be answering your questions in the super chats. I know we've got a couple of them already, so we'll get to those in a few minutes, and then just sharing kind of experiences, stories. I thought I would start out with kind of a funny, interesting story that happened to me a couple years ago. It's maybe 3 years ago. There's actually a YouTube convention. If guys don't know that I am a YouTuber.
Wait, what?
Yeah, wow, it's crazy. So we get invited to YouTube conventions. Obviously, this last year we had no YouTube conventions, but there's really two major ones. There's Playlist Live that's in Orlando, and I believe they experimented with a couple in other cities, but the Orlando one was the big one. And then, of course, VidCon, which is out in LA. Of course, like I said, in 2020, neither of those went off. I don't know if Playlist is doing something this year or not. I know VidCon did this virtual
VR
type
VidCon,
of thing. Yeah, it was. I can't imagine it was very good, but who knows? I shouldn't say that because I really don't know. But VidCon is the bigger of the two. There's no doubt about it. But Playlist, I've been going to longer than VidCon. I've been to VidCon, invited to VidCon a handful of times. But both are pretty fun, and you just get a chance to, for me, it's fun because not only you meeting people that follow you and kind of interacting with you, but also you get a chance to kind of rub elbows with a lot of the big dogs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Although it has changed a lot in the.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, when I first started going to Playlist, all the major players when it came to YouTube were there. Now it's more like, I guarantee you this year it'll be all TikTokers.
Right.
It's like very little
almost like the B or C list of
what basically happened was most of the YouTubers stopped going, and then like the Viners were going one year, and then of course Vine was dead, and then Musical.ly, that obviously turned into TikTok, was like the big one, and Musical.ly was the last one, but not a lot of big YouTubers would go anymore. But anyways, point is, back in the day, a few years ago, when most big YouTubers, or at least a good amount of YouTubers went, we were down there, and it was kind of funny, my friend Savannah from Gatorland, of course, is in the Orlando area. And the year before, we had brought like a baby albino, or just a baby gator, and like a snake to show off, mainly into the green room where all the creators are, right?
Correct.
So,
yeah.
So, you go back there and everyone would, get a chance to play with the animals, and they would do their, Instagram stories and all that type of stuff. So it was pretty cool. So the next year we decided to do it again because it went over so well. And we did go into the crowd the year before as well, and let everyone
toss
just regular people, mess around, and it was really good. So anyways, the next year Savannah came out, and it was actually kind of funny. Noah and I had badges, creator badges. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get Savannah badge. They're very weird about giving badges. They're super strict, as you can understand. They have to be super strict and stuff like that. So ultimately, I kept on trying to get Savannah a badge, and I couldn't get her a badge. So we just decided to take Noah's badge, and Noah would just stay in the room.
Yeah, right.
And so we went down. I met with Savannah, gave her the badge. She got in because it doesn't have your name on it or anything. It just said creator, and like mine had my name on it because I was a special guest or whatever.
I'm spoiled.
But Noah's just said creator. And so Savannah walks in. We go to the green room. We have a 10-foot albino berm. That's just in a container. So we take that up to the room. We drop it in the room. We go down with this little baby alligator. We go into the green room, where all the people are hanging, and again, it's going off great. It's like, people are doing, taking pictures, and they're doing Instagram, and it's all awesome. And then my buddy David Dobrik actually came over. He goes, "Oh man, give me that real quick. Let me go put this over on somebody like he always does, right?" And so we walk over and we put it on. I think it was Emma Chamberlain, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly who it was that we put it on, but literally right as we put it on, she like kind of screams, and like 10 security guards come walking up, and they're like, they knew all about it, right? And our understanding was, after talking to everybody, they another pet tuber actually ratted us out.
Of course.
They actually
no bad blood.
they ratted us out and said that we had animals there without permission and all this other stuff. So anyway, they, Savannah gets immediately, they take her badge away, which is Noah's badge.
Oh no.
They take her badge away and kick her off the property. and then they take me and start to walk me like what, start like interrogating me about this, right? And then the next thing I know, I get a phone call from Noah, and he's like, Dad, there's 7 cops at the door.
Oh no, what do you do?
7 cops at the I'm like, what? So obviously the security escorts me across. I've got this, animal. Savannah's gone. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, whatever. And by the way, we had permits. We had FWC permits to do what we did.
Right, right.
So like we didn't get permission from Playlist Live, but we did have all the proper paperwork to have an alligator and a Burmese python on that premises, right? Because obviously Gatorland is not going to risk their...
Especially in Florida, right?
No, they're not going to risk their license to go have fun at Playlist, So anyways, we get to the room, and by the way, all the cops are really cool. I mean, everyone's being really cool. No one's being an ass or anything like that. But we get to the room, and they're like, what do you have in here? And I go, all I have is this big snake right here. I've got this alligator that you guys, basically, told me I couldn't have, and I've got this snake, and that's it. And I go, and here's the paperwork to have them. I hand them the paperwork, and they're like, okay, well, we need to escort you off the property right now with these animals.
Oh my
and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And so literally, I'm going down the hallway, going through the crowds of people. There's like 7 cops following me.
I couldn't imagine your face at this point.
And we literally get to the area, and so there's like a back parking lot. Ironically enough, thankfully, Savannah was back in that parking lot. So like as I walk out the door, I see Savannah. I'm like, all right, cool. I can give her animals back. We're good, But so back there is where a lot of fans would just to congregate to see their favorite YouTuber, And ironically enough, that particular year, it was all about David Dobrik. So like all day and all night, you would just hear chants, David, David. And of course, I was, doing a lot of work with the Vlog Squad at the time. So a lot of people knew me from David's vlogs, and
they're like, what are you doing, man? You get pulled away by the cops?
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh my God, no way, he's kicked out of Playlist.
Well, how badass.
It's like, so it was this big thing. So we end up walking over to Savannah. We give her the animals. She leaves. No big deal. I mean, obviously she's a little shaken up because she's worried about is there any repercussions from Gatorland? And she calls the boss up. He's fine with it, because there was no news or anything like that. Nothing else goes on. And so anyways, that was it. They let me go back in. They didn't take my badge away, but now we're in a little bit of a predicament because we're staying in the part of the hotel that only creators can stay in. I mean, there's like heavy security to even get in. Like without credentials, you can't get past security check,
Right.
So now Noah's up in the room in that secured area with no badge or no credentials.
Oh, no.
So if he leaves the room, he can't get back into his room. Right. He's done. Right. And this is like Saturday morning, and it's Saturday and Sunday, So it's like, what do you do? So I have to literally call, first off, then one of my managers calls me. It's like, hey, I just got a call from Rita about what happened. Well, what's going on? And I'm like, I tell her the whole story. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe they overreacted. And then she finally my manager told me at the time, she's like, yeah, when I talked to Rita, she told me that another animal YouTuber that was at the thing called them and ratted us out. I won't mention names.
Yeah, of course.
But so yeah, it wasn't like we're doing anything like that. Would have probably we did.
It probably would have been fine had no one said anything.
Yeah, but because this person ratted us out, they had to
Stupid.
do whatever. So then I had to go and literally like grovel and beg. I mean, literally on my knees. I'm like, please, can I have my son's badge back?
Yeah.
I'm like, literally, we flew down here. I've got talks and this and that, and my son is stuck up in a room, and ultimately she ended up, she ended up giving us the badge back. And then I was swore to never do that again.
Pretty much on probation, right?
And I did go back the next year too, which was the year pre-COVID, and I remember she emailed me. She said, "Now I don't want you to bring any animals." I was like, "Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, man.
I'm good." But what's funny was Savannah told me like within like minutes, like everyone in the whole place was talking about this.
Oh yeah, like, you guys were probably the hit of the show, man.
Yeah,
like,
so
that's
it was
crazy.
Just, so it's like I'll get kicked out of Playlist.
What a shit show,
But it's just a bummer that obviously,
But you know what? It made it into a different memory that you'll have forever, and you'll cherish that, right? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. You want to hit a couple supers?
Yeah, let's hit a couple super chats. Like I said, if you guys have questions, hit me up in super chat. I'll be happy to answer. Talk more about Playlists. We can talk about animal breeding. We can talk about zoo stuff.
Whatever y'all want.
Business. We could talk about whatever you want to talk
about.
Ooh,
focaccia and ciabatta, which better?
Yeah, whichever one's better.
Brenda Foster says, just wanted to say, hey, Brian and Jay, hope all is great on this fabulous Saturday.
Thank you so much, Brenda. I appreciate you. It's been a little bit of an off day on some things, but yeah, overall, just really a busy day and, blah, 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 blah. But I always say that, usually the podcast helps me a tremendous amount. Yeah. Usually even if I'm feeling a little bit, goofy, the podcast typically gets me into shape. It's something I do really look forward to typically.
Me too.
So I'm sure that as the podcast goes by, I'll be feeling better and more myself.
Adventures with Tegan says, hey guys, Brian, could you go into the Sunset Project and about the employee that stole your snakes? Not much has been said on it. Love you guys.
Yeah, so I mean, I really can't say much about it either, to be totally honest with you. And there's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, obviously, when you start throwing names out about people, there's all kinds of legal implications. I think that most people in the reptile hobby that know anything know exactly what happened because there's been plenty of people that know the truth and it's been around. So unfortunately, I can't really go deep into it. All I can say is that all of my hets were switched out for normals.
Which is crazy to think about.
So I still had the Sunset animals. I just had a male, but all of the het females. And that year I produced 47 eggs, visual sunset.
Thinking you're going to get quote unquote 15. Het.
Yeah, it should get close to 25.
Right,
25 because 50% would be sunset. So I should have produced about 25. And I had like pastels and cinnamons and stinger bees, and I mean some really nice stuff that would have been pretty crazy. And so I got 47 eggs from all those het females and didn't produce one sunset. So that's when I knew right then. And listen, I take some responsibility because I should have had a camera system in my building. I do now, obviously. And I put blind trust into some of my people that, probably, listen, hindsight's always 20/20.
That's right.
And, looking back, I should have seen this coming. And it wasn't just the Sunset Project. It was also Scaleless Project that the same individual took.
Roberta says, hey, Brian and Jay, don't know if you remember me asking about humidity on another podcast. I was having a hell of a time keeping it dialed in.
Yeah.
Well, with weekly soaks and misting every day, I finally got a full shed.
Good. Well, congratulations. And that's really what it is. Listen, I always tell people, sheds are always related to humidity, right? Certain snakes do, for whatever reason, do shed better, and certain snakes shed bad.
Right.
For instance, like Daisy, doesn't seem to matter. I'm sure if we raise the humidity to the point where it worked, she would shed fine. And bigger snakes do have a harder time shedding in one piece because of the weight of the snake and stuff like that. But nevertheless, when you have shed issues, it's always related to lack of humidity,
right?
And you just got to dial it in. So I'm glad that it finally worked out for you.
Little Bogus says, hey, Brian and Jay, I have the perfect name for your white bearded, and it's Betty White. Then she could meet her namesake.
Yeah.
We were talking about that today.
We actually
literally.
just yesterday's podcast with Noah Choices, you guys were talking about Betty White, and I think it was actually Jerica that came up with the original name, right?
If I'm not mistaken, Jerica or Tiffany, I know one of them two.
Yeah, one of those two were the ones that came up with the original Betty White they meant, and they did it on my vlog, and I really did like it. As a matter of fact, I even brought it up to my crew, but they were already pretty committed to Bones, and it was basically like you gotta I always tell people you gotta be willing to die on the right hill, right?
Yeah.
And some hills just aren't worth fighting for. and I do like Betty White as the name. I think it's a very cool name. I'm a huge Betty White fan, as you guys know. And I would love to have her namesake here, but Bones is fine. It's fine. And I'm happy with it. And it's a beautiful animal. It's doing very, very well.
Heinrich, he threw, I think, it's Czar, so it's like 21 Czar, something like that.
Czar.
I forget where that's from, but
not sure.
He says, hey, Brian, just want to say hi.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you for the Czar. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Amber says, today is Passover, so I won't be on the chat as much. Okay. Hey, chat gang. Hey, Brian and Jay.
Is today Passover?
That's what she says.
Wow.
I have no idea.
Huh.
I mean, it makes sense. It's pretty close to when it should be, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't remember how it worked, right? In my catechism days,
is
didn't
Passover
serve me well, so.
It's a Jewish holiday, right?
It's got to be the Saturday before Christmas. Or I mean, before Easter, I mean?
I think that sounds right.
Must be, yeah.
Our buddy Jeremy, Brassman Reptiles.
What's up, Jeremy? What's going on, dude?
He says, what's up, guys? Watching from North Carolina tonight. Brian, wow. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. Much love, guys.
Give me a call tomorrow, dude. I'm tied up from, 1 to 2? Yeah, basically before 2 o'clock, I'm pretty much, because we'll be filming and I've got a tour from 1 to 2 and just a lot of busy stuff going on in the morning. But after 2 o'clock, I should be free. We open at 3 o'clock. We're open at 3 to 8 tomorrow, but I can always step out, Jeremy. So just hit me up and let's chat. And hopefully NC is treating you well. I was just in North Carolina just a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
For a top secret trip. So I can't tell you guys what's going on. Speaking of top secret.
What do you?
You may notice a shirt I'm
stretch a
little
bit.
Notice a shirt I'm wearing right now. We won't talk about that.
But there's secrets coming, baby.
Yeah.
Abaddon, I think.
Abaddon?
He says, hey, Brian, any tips on getting my picky carpet python onto rats? I've tried choo-choo training, but she will just regurgitate. You rock, by the way.
That's really weird. It is tough. Carpet pythons are weird like this. I worked with a lot of carpet pythons in the past. I've told the story before that back probably in the mid-90s, we were producing probably more carpet pythons than anyone else probably ever did, to be honest with you, because we were producing like 500 to 600 baby carpet pythons a year. Every single year.
Really?
And that's back in the mid 90s. I was like, young, wow, this is great. So I've had a lot of experience with carpets. I had a big group of carpet pythons. And I will tell you, there are the occasional carpet that will just eat mice. I remember I had a female that would produce every year for me, but I had to feed her like 10 breeder mice a week.
Oh my God, how
like
much
breeder
of a pain.
mice, like 10 breeder mice a week, because she would not take rats. Most of them will switch over, and I don't know how old your carpet python is. Typically with age, they usually switch. I found that like they would eat mice, and then at about 2 years old, they would just magically switch over to rats.
Wow.
Just like magic. I mean, some take rats when they're 6 months old.
Right.
Some don't, but the ones that were mouse eaters typically, I think I only had the one female that, ironically enough, I had a clown ball python. The first adult clown ball python that was ever imported into the country, I bought. And but at the time, I think I've told this story, the Barkers, I think, had a pair of babies that they imported like 2 years prior or the year prior or something like that. And so they brought the first clowns in, but then I brought a female adult in out of the wild. Man, tick infested, man. This thing had... It must.
Oh my God!
If it
really?
didn't have 200 ticks on it, it didn't have any ticks. It was crazy how tick infested this animal was.
That's nuts.
But thankfully, we got all the ticks gone, and she bred and stuff like that. But strangely enough, that clown ball python, and I remember that one female carpet python was only a mouse. Both mouse eaters, just nothing but mice. So sometimes you get that, but my feeling is going to be that she will switch over to rats for you.
Sweet. Buddha's Balls says, hey, Brian and Jay, great to catch you live this week. Yeah. Love the new vlog format changes and excited to hear more about the 3.0, 4.0 going up plans for the Reptarium.
Well, first off, thank you. I'm glad that you like the changes. We've been working hard.
Hell yeah.
It's I don't want to say, and I don't know if you guys, I mean, obviously you noticed. I hope other people have noticed.
Right.
I think tomorrow's vlog in particular is one of my favorites.
It might be one of my favorites that we've ever shot.
It might be one of the favorites that we've
and
ever
even
shot.
The one that went out today was another one that I was really impressed with. It came out really great.
Yeah, it came out really good too. So I like the pacing. I like the way we film. It's a little bit harder because
it's probably twice as hard.
Yeah, because you're taking something that we used to make into a 2.5 or 3 minute segment. We're making it 1 minute.
If that,
So like you have to film like twice as much
and think of twice as much content to go in the same space. Yeah, it's crazy.
And during a time of the year when we're still waiting on eggs and we talked about egg cutting today, and a typical egg cutting last year was anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
We want to now make those eggs cutting same amount of eggs, same content, 2 to 3 minutes.
And like, how do we do that? How do we go about like cutting all that time into a small piece
and still tell the same story?
Right.
And it's just going to be a like cutting all the fat out, and that's what basically I think what it comes down to is, don't get me wrong, there will be the occasional dissertation that I make, for 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, or if I feel like there's something important. But most of the time we're trying to keep most segments under a minute now to make it much more fast. And some people may not like it. I think most people seem to like it.
I think I've seen more comments about it. I haven't seen one negative comment, but I've seen a lot of comments about liking it. So
well, good. I'm glad.
Awesome.
And I think that it's it's coming around. So that's that. And then 3.0 and 4.0. I'll be honest with you. It's one of those things where I'm so excited about it, but I think that's part of my mental exhaustion. Is that I keep thinking about every single thing about the expansion, knowing that we're still months away from even starting the expansion. So we're basically have hired, I mean, they just haven't cashed a check yet, an architect firm to do the architectural drawings on what this place will look like. And even in the last week, as we've been moving forward, and I don't know how long what the scope of work is, the timeline is, but I'm sure within the next, say, month, we're going to have an artist rendering of what we think the Reptarium will look like when it's done. And then, of course, you could do the deep dive into the actual, permits and building codes and what we need and all that. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But even in the last week, since we've really gotten deep into this, I've already made some changes mentally about how it's going to look and how it's going to work. And it will be by far the most insane undertaking I've ever done, the most expensive thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I think that really, to be realistic, I think if everything went well, 3.0, which would be the last segment of the Reptarium, I think could be done as early as, quite frankly, as early as, early winter. I think we could be open for 3.0. 4.0 is probably going to be almost a year from now.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a year from now before we're done with it, because it's just going to take so much time and energy. I mean, just the construction alone to build the building is probably going to be a 3-month window. I would think 3 months of building. And then that's just to get the shell. And then once we have the shell, we have to do all the internals, and it's going to be quite the adventure. But looking forward to it. I hope it can work. I really, really do. The financial side is something that's a little daunting to me, because I honestly don't know how much money it's going to cost and if we'll be able to absorb that kind of a hit. People that don't know me know I don't like debt, so I don't like borrowing. The other thing is I mean, I've thought about doing some fundraising or some crowd fundraising and stuff like that, but I'm a little bit nervous about that too, because I don't want people to think like, oh, this guy's making all this money and he's begging for money and stuff like that. So I don't know what you guys think about it. I mean, I mean, obviously there's always that magical thing, like when we went out to Rob Carmichael's, out, where you just get you find someone that's like, hey, listen, I love animals and I'm going to write you a check for $500,000 because I love animals so much, because I believe in your vision. That's the magical, that's the
idea.
But that's what everyone wants. Everyone in life wants that what they call an angel investor, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. But it'll be a fun ride, and I can't wait to bring you guys along on it.
Alex Rankin threw $25, but his or her message is retracted.
Sorry.
I'll try to see if I can find it somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll see if we can, or if you just post it up again in the normal chat, and we'll find you.
Lydia says, can you explain what you know about your mystery balls from a couple years ago?
The funny thing is I don't know much.
Yeah. We still got to wait another year, pretty much, right?
Yeah. And I don't know that the female's going to go again this year. She didn't rebound as quick. She's now eating really, really well.
Oh, okay.
But she was a little bit finicky coming out of the egg season, so she didn't put all her body weight back on.
Gotcha.
And she hasn't really, I'd say right now she's probably just now starting to come back to weight. And usually you have to push a little harder before you can get to that next level. So I think that she's probably not going to produce this year. But I can tell you this, the breeding that we bred to her should look nothing like what she looks like.
Right.
And then all of the babies make no sense at all. I mean, there were 6 babies. All 6 babies looked radically different. And it was literally supposed to be just like a 3-gene animal. And we've got 6 different genes that have popped up. So there's just something going on. And sometimes, you may get this animal bred to this animal, and it might be allelic. It might be, sometimes it's just the actual pair they could both be heterozygous for something. They could both be carrying, or sometimes it can be just a spontaneous mutation that happens.
Sure.
So yeah, next year we've got probably 2 projects that we can the new gene animal and the mystery animal
really drive into,
which is so
right?
funny. I tell you, I obviously I'm not in the ball game like I was years before, but I still follow everything. And I'm telling you guys, man, there's a lot of genes out there that are popping up that are named this or named
the
Spartan,
same genes,
Spartan ball python, this ball python, that are legitimately exactly the same as ball pythons that have been around for 10 years. And I'm just like, why are we like,
are people just doing that to like market?
I think it's just a marketing thing because I saw a yellow belly ball python today, and I'm not going to mention the name of the gene because I don't want people to shit on me like, oh, Brian doesn't know what he's talking about. This person was like, I'm so excited I finally got this gene. I would bet my collection it's a yellow belly ball python.
Yeah.
Just a really pretty one. It's a pretty one because we produce really pretty yellow belly ball
I've seen a
pythons
few
in the past. And it was a several $1,000 snake. And I'm like, well, a really pretty yellow belly is $100 snake, So it is really weird right now that don't get me wrong. There are some ball python projects that are coming up that are really cool. But there are also a lot of these like really, you have to squint to see them.
Yeah, there was another one. We talked about it when we were at Wilbanks. I can't remember which one it was, what exactly it was. But we did it on the video. He had 2 ball pythons he showed you. And he was like, if you had 10 of these and 10 of these, would you be able to tell the difference? You're like, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
It was a stranger gene.
Yeah. That's
the
what it was.
stranger gene in mahogany. And there's a lot of, I think Justin Kabelica was the one that came out and said that he thought that they might be the same gene, or they might be similar expressions of the same complex, right?
Yeah, lesser Mojave.
Again, lesser Mojave, Lori, red Xantha, same complex, Mojave, whatever. You got Het Russo,
Get the point, yeah.
You can be in a complex, Cine Black Pastel. Certainly phenotypically they look different, but genetically they basically act almost similar. The same, yeah.
Brian Hamstra says, I have a baby rhino iguana. What size is Bella's cage? I'm looking to build a forever home.
So it's 8 foot by 4 foot by 6 foot deep.
Yeah.
So it's quite a bit of square footage. I know one thing, as a matter of fact, just the tour I had today said the same thing. Like the depth of the cages here is what's
what gives it away. Yeah.
In the vlog, you don't see how deep the cages are. 6 foot deep cage is a pretty deep. Yeah, you have to.
That's my height almost.
You have to crawl in it. You can't get to the back of it without crawling into the cage. And that's how all our cages are. They're very deep, and so there's a lot of square footage for them, and they do need a lot of square footage. They're big animals.
They run around a bit.
Yeah, they move around. Definitely. I've seen some big rhinos in some cages that were not good for them.
Sweet. Boston Kissinger says, hey, what's the best way to contact you? I had a friend end up in jail who bought a ball python a while back and a retic from somewhere else, but I have no way to take care of them and want what's best for them.
You can email us at any, BHB, info at BHB Reptiles, sales at BHB Reptiles.
Attention to Brian.
Yeah. Attention, Brian. I don't know if I'd be interested, but if I'm not, I can certainly help out. I can push you in the right direction.
King's Collage threw $1 just for love. Appreciate you.
Thank you, King's Collage.
Stephanie, is it bro? We know this lady. It's bro. Is it Browsu?
I just always have known her as Stephanie. But,
well, Stephanie threw $100. Says, love you guys.
Stephanie.
Can't wait to come visit.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've heard from you. So thank you so much. Welcome back, and thank you for your generosity.
Spell your name phonetically on the bottom, and I'll try to remember it.
Yeah, and you've always been amazing to us. And I hope you can come visit us. It would be amazing. Let's hope that we continue to just keep opening and stay open and don't have anything change the course of where we're at and stuff like that. And then obviously as we open up more, we'll have more space and more animals. And like I said, I've told you guys this, and I was talking to Lori about this this afternoon. Is like I said, it's she said this. She goes, just talking to you sometimes is exhausting. She goes, I can't imagine being you. She's like, you tell me what's on your mind, and I feel like I need to take a nap. And I'm like, and that's on my mind all
day. I'm just telling you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what I'm thinking right now, but I'm thinking that all day. So my point is that I've been like, going through these blueprints in my head for the Reptarium 3.0, the Aquarium 4.0, and it's interesting, you might think like, well, why are you doing that? The truth is that all the time as I'm going through these things in my head, like an issue will pop up like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. What do I do about this? What do I do about, and I keep making these lists. It's massaging
the idea.
I keep making these lists of the things that I haven't thought about in the past. And yeah, that's I think that's part of being a forward-thinking businessman. That being said, I do think that I have to find a way to not. I wrote a tweet today, which I don't tweet very often.
Right.
But I wrote a tweet today, and I said my ambition often ruins my accomplishments of today. And I need to work on that.
Because it's almost like you've already stomped out the thing you've accomplished to be like, all right, on to the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, I never sit back and go like, okay, we've accomplished this.
I
That's
did this.
Great.
Yeah.
It's always like my ambition is so strong that I don't ever smell the roses and go, wow, we accomplished something amazing.
Sprint right past.
And we just go right to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And I need to somehow learn to stop that.
Yeah, it's like what you're doing is a good thing, right? Like in the sense of like, hey, I should think about all the possible things. It allows me to think of the mistakes I could make. But when you want to, you should be able to shut that off.
Well, that's the thing. You should be able to shut it off, and I don't ever shut it off.
Right.
And that's the downside, and that's probably what causes me all my mental anguish, to be totally honest with you. But it's funny. I was talking to one of my counselors this week, and she said the same thing. She said, all my really like thinking clients, and she specializes in anxiety. She said the people that are the most successful, she said they all are very tormented.
Yeah.
And that's this is the question that I guess I'm going to rhetorically ask, is that would you give up the thinking mind of an entrepreneur to be a more dumbed down version but be happier? And that's a tough question to answer, because you want to achieve and have a legacy, and you want to do things. And this is the thing. I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, well, this is the problem, guys. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Is that every time you go, once I'm done with 4.0, 3.0, 4.0, I'm done. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then fantastic. But we know that's not the case, right? There's going to be a 5.0.
There's going to be a parking lot somewhere,
It's going to be something that changes, that goes, this is now, this now. And that's fundamentally the problem with my life, is that I can't stop, and I can't,
pump the brakes.
I can't just go, all right, I'm good. Let's just chill now. Let's just enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Right.
And that's fundamentally why I'm so tormented, and probably why I deal with the anxiety that I deal with. Unfortunately, it's probably from overthinking.
No, you're not wrong at all, man. Yeah. Alex Rankin, he had the chat before that was retracted. I got his message. It says, want to shout out to my fiance Laura. Today is her golden birthday. She turns 27. She just came home from giving birth to our first baby 2 nights ago, baby Archer. What a birthday present.
Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday. Congratulations on the new kid.
Shout out to you, Laura.
I mean, what a week, man. That's a hard week to be. Right?
That's a crazy
birthday,
one.
you got the kid, you got, my gosh. I mean,
how cool is that? The kid's birthday is right with the mom's birthday.
It could be good or bad. It's I guess.
What do you think?
I mean,
it's probably worse for the mom.
It's probably worse for the mom, I guess. I guess it's not like at least having, like, I always felt bad for, like, we have some family members that have like
Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
Christmas.
That's
like
totally
a couple
different.
days
Totally
by
different.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and you're just like, you're boned because you're not getting 2 gifts, you're getting 1 gift.
No, you get a birth present.
You just got screwed, But I guess with mom, it's not as bad.
No, mom's not that bad. But my grandma's birthday is the 27th of December, so same thing. She gets crushed.
Yeah.
I mean,
because no one's buying 2 gifts.
No, and they're wrapping your birthday gift in Christmas present paper too.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, come on.
My dad was the 23rd.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, he was the 23rd. And although I didn't know my dad very much, and this always was weird to me. For some reason, again, my dad was really never around. But for some reason, we as kids, my 2 siblings and myself, got a present on the 23rd for my dad's birthday.
Yeah, you guys were talking about that.
So like, well, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would we get just always a very tall, we all had miniature trees in our bedroom, right?
Okay.
Like just little tiny, like 2 foot tall trees that we would decorate. And that was like our thing. And then under that tree was the present for the 23rd. And
so good.
So yeah, I mean, I don't.
You guys probably, when you guys were real young, you guys were probably whining because your dad was getting gifts around Christmas. You're like, where's our gifts?
No, I don't. I don't remember my dad being around at Christmas. So
I got you.
So I don't remember him ever getting gifts.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, that's so weird.
I don't remember him ever getting. I don't remember him ever being around at all at Christmas, not even once. So
yeah, same. Heidi says, Heidi and Heinrich are kind of mad at us right now.
Oh no!
They said, "How do you not know what ZAR is?" LOL. SA Rands. They're South Africa.
South African Rands.
Hey everyone, sending much love to everyone.
You know, it's funny. By the way, hi Heidi. And she trumped me, dude.
What do you mean?
She smacked me down bad, man. So I post this video of an egg-eating snake, and I know she didn't do this on purpose because it was the timing was almost like it was really coincidence.
Yeah.
It was like almost at the exact same time. I post a video of a egg-eating snake spinning around and striking, and she posts a video of an albino egg eater eating an egg.
No,
and I'm just like, what?
Come on, baby.
Come on, Heidi. You killed my post over here. No, the truth was that was a badass animal. I'm super, super jealous.
I can't even imagine what they look like.
Oh, my gosh. If you go on Heidi's Instagram, you'll see him. Or you can maybe even just put albino egg-eating snake. I would assume that she would be there, you know. Let's see what we got here.
Is it this one?
Yep, that right there. Check that out.
What?
Check that out. What? And look at this, taking it right out of her hand.
This is what I was telling you we had to do. This is Heidi's video.
This is Heidi's video.
I think I might have seen this somewhere, and that's where I got the idea from.
Oh, my gosh. I want that. Look at there. And I didn't even notice it's on top of a normal egg-eating snake.
What the
heck?
Look
at how fast that snake ate that egg, dude.
Dude. Heidi,
can we please have that
Can you
snake?
send that here?
I mean, you don't need that.
Come on, man.
Come on, show some love,
Put
Heidi.
it in the vlog.
No, but that was dope, man. Thanks, Heidi. I appreciate you. And I'm sorry. It's interesting. When you said ZAR, I was going to say I thought it was South African Rand, but I felt like I'd look like an asshole if I was wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, I'm just going to tiptoe on this one.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is. But yes, I thought that's what it was. So sorry about that to my South African friends.
My South African friends.
My South Africa friends.
Brennan says, hello, Brian and Jay. Came down for my 21st birthday in January.
Wow.
Was the only one over 10 there. LOL. Looking to come back for a private tour soon.
Well, I can promise you that all those 10-year-olds have parents.
We definitely were there.
We have no daycare here at the Reptarium. But you aren't wrong with the fact that the Reptarium has really become a family venue.
Yeah.
A lot of families, which I think is cool. I think that's to me, that's a vision I didn't expect. I didn't plan for that whatsoever, but yet I'm super proud that that's the way it's turned out, because today was a great example. We had a tour with Jay the edutainer and Aislinn, and there was a girl probably about 7 or 8. When she walked in, she goes, I don't like snakes. I'm not holding snakes. I'm just here because of my friend.
Yeah.
And about halfway through, she started holding snakes. By the end, she was holding every snake. And by the end, she wanted to take Midnight home. She's like, Mom, can I get Midnight? Can I get a snake like that? So, having the kids here is pretty amazing. It's really special for me, anyways, and I can't wait to have you back. And I promise you aren't the only adult here.
Connor says you have some cool tattoos.
Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I just talked to my tattoo artist over the last couple of days, and I may be picking my first session in April to get the next tattoo.
Yeah, dude, that's dope.
I'm not sure. This is my only problem. I know this is terrible, but I'm still not 100% with anxiety, right? You know, I mean, so I mean, can't I sit in a chair for 8 or 9 hours getting tattooed and not have like anxious, thoughts
and stuff,
fill in? And what happens is like, when you start to get anxiety, it can build quickly.
It spirals.
It can go from like, oh my God, I'm not feeling very comfortable, to like, oh my God, if I don't get out of this chair right now, I'm going to literally
weird?
I'm going to literally, I'm going to die.
Today.
I'm about to pass out.
Yeah.
And not that tattooing really is a bother. It's not. It's
just being in one spot, distracted for 8 hours.
Yeah,
right?
and Bob, my tattooer, who is amazing, is very slow. I mean, you don't do a tattoo under 8 hours. As a matter of fact, did I tell you the guy was here, had got a fucking tuatara on his arm?
No, I did not, but that is dope.
Tuatara on his arm by Bob Tyrell. And He came in, and when he came in, I did what most people do to me when they're like, "Oh my God, I followed that arm on Bob Tyrell's face." I did it to him. I'm like, "Oh my God, you're the dude.
You're Tatuatara.
I just saw this morning on the internet." And he was like, "Yeah, it took him 14 hours. They started. Get this. They started at 6:00 at night. So he till 8 in the morning. He did this to Atara, and literally, I don't think I've ever left Bob's before 2, 3 in the morning.
I'd be throwing
and
up,
sometimes
dude.
I'm there till 4 or 5 in the morning, and I just don't know. In the fragile mental state that I'm still in, I don't know that I can handle that. But Jay the Edutainer is getting, of all things, zombie, not just a rosehair tarantula, but zombie specifically tattooed on his arm.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Very awesome. Scottish Rob says, if a snake just bites and doesn't coil when with frozen thawed, do you feel it's a sign to size up the prey? And is the blackhead a female? Worried I was wrong.
No, ironically enough, it was a female. You're 100% right. We sexed it. Did we do it on the vlog or did
No,
I
we
just
did not.
sext it? All right, I must just sext it on my own. It is a female, so good job. You did a great job. And no, I think that sometimes with frozen thawed, some snakes just don't coil. You know what I mean?
Like, don't
Some
gotta
snakes,
happy.
yeah, it's like they get bored, they get sick, they get lazy, and they're just like, I don't need to coil
Just
anymore.
eat it.
But you can, if you feel like, I always say sizing up with snakes when it comes to feeding is when you feed it and you see 0 lump.
Yep.
That usually tells you size up because you want to have some lump in that snake. You don't want a giant lump in the snake unless you have an anaconda or something that eats giant meals. But you do want a lump.
Sweet. V-Dog asks, or says, couldn't stop laughing at the vlog where you were going to school us on how to take a bite. Couldn't stop laughing. Hope you're better, though.
Oh, my God. I will be honest. I literally went into that piece with, I'm going to do the anti-Brave Wilderness here.
Yeah, and just kind of like, this doesn't hurt at all.
This doesn't hurt at all, as a matter of fact. But then it got my cuticle.
And real strong,
Ooh.
too. Them
And
children
it hurt. It hurt, man. It was. They got sharp little teeth, man. It's like a bunch of little needles poking into your cuticle. Yeah. So it did hurt a bit. And ironically enough, I still am healing on my
that
my
one
bicep.
on your arm is like badass, dude.
Yeah,
it's like pretty raw.
And it turned it got
purple,
bruised,
bro.
It got bruised.
I've been looking at it at the vlog. I'm like, what is going on with his arm?
I know,
bro?
man. And that was when I was alone, man. I didn't have anyone around. I was just like, this thing's eating my hand. So
Pat Greiser says, hey, Brian, enjoyed watching Lori feed the snakes. Just wanted to let you know that the Blind Cat Rescue had to put another cat down. Being a nonprofit, they only rely on donations.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it sucks that obviously they have something going on there. I know you talked about the virus and stuff like that, and that's a scary thing. So I hope that they can do something. I'll try to give them a shout out on my Instagram.
Vanessa View. Says,
Vanessa.
And I know her.
Of course,
I know her.
Of course, she comments every single day.
Every single day, and
it's
my
the
favorite
first
one.
time I've seen her on the podcast.
Yeah, I've never seen her here.
Does she ever comment just in the normal chat?
I've never seen her here because I would remember because I know her name.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
We love you.
I'd love to know where she's from.
I would love to know more about you.
Yeah, because you always have such a delightful, happy comment every day on the vlog.
And specific. I can literally scroll real fast and automatically see it.
It's very good. Did you know that Anna?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I didn't check back. I was really happy to see that she commented on the shorts. I didn't see her comment on the vlog today, but someone reached out and said that she was in the hospital.
Oh my God, is she okay?
But, I think she's okay now because she commented on.
Well, I hope you're okay,
the shorts. So I don't know that she ever watches the podcast, but she's literally been watching the vlog since our very first vlog.
I know
and she will comment on every single vlog, sometimes multiple times. So
yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's great.
Mr. Simple Man, our boy.
Simple Man, what's up, dude?
He says, hope you're all having a great day. Jay screaming when feeding Casper was hilarious.
Oh, my God.
And what genes does it take to make blue-eyed leucistics?
First off, yes, Jay was funny.
The whole video was
it's so funny because Jay is such an interesting guy. For his age, wise beyond his years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You always are it seems like, oh, you were a mortician?
Yeah, yeah.
You were in the army?
You sewed dolls together? You're like...
Wait a second. You were in the circus?
Yeah.
It's like the guy is very unbelievably well-rounded for being the age he is. But he's also super into reptiles, but at the same time, he's afraid of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And he almost pooped himself.
But it works great, man. It's like a perfect combination to be excited about reptiles, but also kind of skittish around them.
Yeah,
it's
especially
just so
about
funny.
certain things. He's like, I'm not doing that, and like when he handled Pepper in tomorrow's vlog.
Oh my God.
It was classic.
You guys are gonna lose it when you watch it.
I really hope you like it, and I hope that I'll be. Listen, YouTube's a tough game. It really is. It's a tough game. It's going to be a bummer if that video doesn't do very, very well.
Because it should.
Because, the effort we put in, the editing that went into it, the energy that went into it, and the content and context of that content was really, really good.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm a critic of our own work a lot.
Oh, dude, we both are. You know that.
So it's so hopefully tomorrow you guys will love it.
I'm serious. I challenge any of you to hold water in your mouth and try not to spit it out while watching that video because I can't stop laughing at it.
Yeah, it's good.
And then what about to make blue-eyed leucistics? I'm guessing ball pythons.
Yeah, blue-eyed Lucy ball pythons are obviously they call it the bell complex. And you basically have lessers, you have Mojaves, you have mochas, you have het russos, and then you have specials as well. Specials that make the crystals also. So those 5 things really comprise the top 5 blue-eyed Lucy makers. Is
Invisible technically is in the blue-eyed Lucy complex?
I don't know if the Invisible. I guess it would be.
I think it's Phantom Russo or something.
Yeah.
Right?
I forgot about Phantom. Yeah, you got Phantom and Mystic as well.
But those aren't as common as the other ones. I've never seen Mystic.
But Phantom and all those can produce blue-eyed Lucies as well. So you have like 7 or so animals in the complex of blue-eyed Lucy.
And you can mix and match, right?
Yeah, and some are pure white. Some have a little bit like Super Mojaves have the purplish head, grayish head with a little bit of yellow stripe, on and on. So the bluest ones, blue or whitest ones are typically linked back to something with lesser. So lesser Phantom, lesser Mojave,
Russo,
lesser Russo. The Russo to Russos are pretty good.
I've heard that. Yeah,
those are pretty good as well. So, but they all make some sort of a white snake. Yeah.
Gary Sutherland says, first time I've caught a live. My daughters Mia, Letty, and I love watching the vlogs. They especially love Elvis because they have a dog named Elvis.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you could give them a shout out, it would make their week.
Well, I tell you what, Mia, is it Mia or Maya?
Let's go with Maya and Letty.
Maya and Letty. I tell you what, Maya and Letty, I appreciate you so much. I can't thank you enough. It means the world to me. And without you guys, I don't survive. So thank you so much for that. And I am glad that you love Elvis as much as we do.
He's my favorite too.
Literally had Elvis out 5 minutes before I had the vlog or the podcast tonight. So having some fun with people and just seeing the kids. We had some kids that were brave as hell with
No
Elvis
way. What
today.
happened?
No, just like how kids are usually like, oh, it's
super skittish. Yeah.
They were literally, there was like 6 kids surrounding Elvis that were petting it like it was a puppy dog.
When I saw you before,
face and everything, just upstairs.
Yeah.
Face I'm just like, and of course I'm always watching everything that Elvis does. I'm watching his mannerisms. You can tell when he's
still a lizard. Yeah.
Yeah. When he's triggered, you can tell. But he was being complete. He was just licking their faces. I mean, it was crazy.
It's so cute. And we had him out. You'll see in another vlog with it. That's what I'm editing tonight too. We had him out the other day outside, and we were running around.
Outside.
Noah, Jay, and stuff.
You guys took him out for. It's been beautiful here, so we've been able to take some animals outside. It's been in the mid 70s on some days, and sunny, which is crazy for March in Michigan. So we've been able to take some animals out and about, which is always awesome. It just kind of changes the dynamic of the vlog, and it changes everything. Plus, it's just nice for us to.
We just love being outside with them. It's great.
It's just really great. I'm sure they're loving it. Getting a little sunshine, getting a little.
Elvis was like closing his eyes. He was just chilling, man.
So I think Elvis will be out a lot more this year than we probably have ever done because he seems to be good with harnessing now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Emily says, tried to listen while heading back from my FedEx route, but the service sucks. Guess I'll have to work later. And since I got hurt yesterday working, it's my last day of being treating like dirt. Love you guys. Yeah, you tell him, Emily.
Emily, don't let them treat you like
Dude, if I'm
dirt,
not mistaken, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was, I think, on Noah's podcast last night telling us how, like, the boss was just like, oh, deal with it. Like, you can't go home if you're hurt or whatever.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, yo, you better...
It's just like
tell
Bruce.
Somebody.
That's what I told Bruce, man. He broke his ankle. I'm like, shut the hell up and get to work.
Shut up. Why aren't you draining your phone?
Come on. You got a broken ankle? Come on.
You got 2 good hands.
Yeah, I'm hobbled over here, too. I got a sprained freaking
I got a sprained toe.
I got a sprained toe today. I really do have a sprained toe today.
I know. He's been gimping today,
I've been gimping. It's been so weird, man. So I kind of sprained my toe working. So on Fridays when I go to the gym, I do mainly like weight stretching exercises, right? So it's like weight with stretching. The rest of the days I do weight training. But I was doing this really difficult like windmill thing, stretch, a windmill stretch with a bell weight, and I could feel it on my toe at the time, but obviously it like as the day went on after I was out of the gym, I got to a point where I couldn't even put weight on my foot last night. And weirdly enough, 2 weeks ago, I had the same thing happen with my ankle on my other foot. So 2 weeks in a row, I've like been gimped out. So
gimbled.
I've been gimbled
I got this gimbal.
I got this gimbal-ish.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah.
So Stephanie came back just to tell me how to say her name. Through $50. You're a sweetheart, Steph.
Gosh.
And she says it's French, and it's Brousseau.
Brousseau. I like
Stephanie
it, though.
Brousseau.
I like that.
It's very fancy.
Stephanie Brousseau. That sounds.
I need to make that my last name. We need to get married. I'll take your last name.
Brousseau. Wow, that does sound really nice.
Right?
I mean, it's not. You got to be a really good person.
You need that Bobby in your face, like Bobby Brousseau. Like that. That sounds like a restaurant.
Bobby Brousseau.
Yeah, hey, Bobby Brousseau's.
Yeah, you should get into the restaurant business, though. You know the Brousseaus.
Oh my God, what a restaurant! Have you been?
I have been.
Their focaccia is top notch.
No, focaccia is that's the Italian.
Yeah, sorry.
This is a French. You know, this
my
is
bad.
This got
cleflanc.
Yeah.
Cleflanc.
It's nothing like a little duck fat.
Oh,
you know.
Jim says, "Hey Brian, we started a ball python collection for eventually breeding.
Yeah.
We have a banana pied to a regular pied and a bamboo pin to a pastel bamboo enchi." Nice. Any other suggestions for starters?
That's another blue eye complex.
I was just going to say that.
Another blue eye complex is the bamboo. I've said this a million times, and I'll continue to say it, that there's really no bad direction right now. You know what I mean? Like, work with what you like, work hard at it, work your projects. If you want to work something that you feel other people aren't doing that you really like, that's great. Or just work things that you think are going very well, you know? Like, I think Justin Kabelika has always had an interesting business thing where he would go and try to make that really cool animal, the Pompeii or whatever it was, and then he would be able to sell the ingredients for that mutation. So he would think maybe 2 or 3 years ahead and say, I'm going to produce this, but by producing this, I'm going to be able to sell all of these 3 or 4 ingredients that people are going to really want because they see this gem of an animal that I produce over here. And so you can go about it that way too. You know, you can either just say, hey, I just want to produce really beautiful animals. And that's what we're doing, right? Like, I'm not looking at it as an investment, a business, thing like I used to. For me, I'm just trying to produce animals that I think are going to be really beautiful that people are going to want. So I'm not producing that like really rare, like, oh my gosh, and then selling the ingredients to make that oh my gosh animal. Instead, I'm trying to make that kind of like, maybe not oh my gosh, just gosh, and that animal can sell, and of course we'll keep some stuff, and we always have little projects. I always say, like, probably my collection is probably underrated now than it probably should be. I mean, I think that if people saw all the animals that I had that I'm working on, I'm not saying it's up there with the big dogs these days, but certainly it's second tier,
for
type
sure,
ball python collection. And I think that if you ask, I mean, I got to imagine that the mutations and the quantity of stuff that we have is still top 10, top 12 ball python collections. But we probably don't make the top 50 when people think of us with ball python collections these days, which is my own doing because I haven't promoted myself that way. I've kind of went the other way and tried to say, like, I don't want to really promote myself as an investment ball python guy. I want to, really promote myself as like an animal guy, reptile hobby guy, promoting the love and understanding of the animals.
Sweet. By the way, Jerica just let me know that Anna said she feels much better than yesterday, but her body hurts. She has sepsis and kidney stones and a kidney infection.
Jeez.
What happened to you, Anna?
Yeah, so what probably happened was she probably got kidney stones, which caused sepsis.
And a kidney infection.
And the infection, of course, is from the septicemia.
I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better soon.
I mean, we love her, and I'm glad that if she's doing better, she's on the road to recovery.
That's my girl.
And, that's good. And that shit can be really bad, I mean, it's pretty shocking how as a person that's had kidney stones, in the past, it can rock your world, man.
Yeah, I'm not excited for that.
Let's hope you don't ever have it.
I'm hoping. Carly says, hi, Brian and Jay. Thank you for always staying positive and helping me through the day. Will you get any axolotls for the expansion?
So I'd like to get some axolotls. I think that we'll definitely do something in the aquatic part of the building, whether it's axolotls or hellbenders or something of the sort. Something. I'm not sure what yet, to be totally honest with you. The biggest problem with all of those animals is that they need to be chilled, right?
Cool.
Yeah, so you have to literally have a chiller on that tank. Yep. You can't. There's no way in any part of our buildings will it be cold enough to keep those animals.
It needs to be like 60, right?
I think that the water temperature needs to be about 70-ish, which is still, you figure, 15 degrees colder than what we keep our building,
air
is,
yeah.
And some of those like hellbenders and giant salamanders, they probably do need to be in the 50s and 60s. As a matter of fact, the Columbus Zoo started keeping them outside.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Now they had places to go inside, but they kept them in a river outside. And I know they were trying to do a breeding project in there, but I don't know. This was a couple years ago when I was down there talking with my friends, and I don't know if they had any success or not, but they had the giant Chinese salamanders.
Wow, that's awesome. Chris says, hey, Brian, what is your advice on me getting a farm-bred Amazon tree boa from Underground Reptiles on Morph Market? Do you know anyone who sells captive bred?
Captive bred are difficult. There's not a lot of people that have them. Jeremy from Brassman Reptiles, or New England Reptile Distributors, but his own company is Brassman. I would talk to him, search him out on Instagram,
he just posted a nice
because
picture.
he posted. Yeah, he works with Amazons. Annulatas are a little bit more common to be bred. Not that they're common because they're more rare than the Amazon tree boas, but there are subspecies of Amazon tree boa that get a little bit bigger, typically a little bit more docile. And a lot of people are working on breeding them because they're more expensive. But the farm captive animals do pretty well, to be honest with you. So I don't think that's something you should shy away from.
There's a pretty big chance that mine's a cat, like a farm bred. And it does.
Yeah,
it's great.
What happens is
every week.
And I don't know if Undergrounds is like this or not, but what happens is they come into the country gravid, and then importers keep them until they have babies. So they're produced usually in captivity.
Right.
So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. B&H Reptiles says, sent you and Jay a message a couple months back about possibly coming up and possibly filming for our channel. Mm-hmm. I don't remember seeing that message. But
well, please send the message again to Jay.
Send it to me one more time.
Don't send it to me because I won't see it. But if you send it to Jay, we can try to look at a time. Tell me an idea what you're thinking, and
maybe we can work something out.
I'm always in for collabs.
Pat Greiser says, would you think of breeding salt and pepper? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, salt and pepper are two females, so we can't breed them together, obviously. We have talked with Gatorland about sending pepper down potentially in the future and breeding pepper. I don't think I would ever breed salt. I just don't think I would ever take the chance
of
anything happening to salt. Not that I want to take chances of anything happening to pepper, but I would assume that pepper has a better chance, being a non-albino, to fare better with breeding. But we'll see what happens. I mean, but I would love to. Again, when Gatorland was up here a few weeks back, we talked about it, and we were talking about if we bred an albino to the melanistic, we could produce some double head snows, which would be really dope. So, I think that might happen.
Sweet. Sierra Norris says, second time live. Hey, from Walgreens again. FYI,
Walgreens.
I did wind up getting time off, sadly for health issues, but enjoyed it nonetheless. Thanks for jinxing me.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but you're welcome.
I'm sorry, but yeah, you're welcome. I hope you enjoyed that time off. Hopefully Walgreens, I mean, hopefully they're starting to jab people with
some
those,
folks.
Those, I know, I think here in Michigan, Walgreens is just now starting to jab people. So
that'd be great.
That'll be good. Michigan's finally just in the last few days has really started to crush the vaccine game. And as a matter of fact, I've told people I get my first vaccine this Monday. Nervous about it, but excited too, excited to be part of the solution. And I think that, I don't want to go into it too deeply, but I really do encourage people to be a part of that solution. I know it's difficult. I get it. I understand. I'm nervous. I've got my apprehensions, but I don't have my apprehensions about the vaccine or the science behind it. My apprehensions are just, you just don't know how you're going to react. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, most people have little to no reaction. Some people have severe reactions. I'm praying that I'm not one of those people. So whenever you go into it, it's kind of like, I think I heard Noah say something like, if you had a what was it, like a 1 in 2 chance of dying on your way to work?
Yeah,
you would
never
go to work.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's 1 in a million shot that there's going to be something really bad happening. But
And there's
always
and if you think about it that same way, like Noah said,
Right.
it's a 1 in 100 chance that you'll die on your way to work.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. 1 in a million are odds that you would probably. Let's put it this way: if you were given a chance to say, I'm going to give you $1 million, but there's 1 in a million chance I'm also going to shoot you in the head.
I'm taking it.
Probably going to go, yeah, I'll take the mill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you rolled like a million-sided die and
Yeah.
we had to get the number 1, you're winning for sure.
Yeah, exactly. If you were like, all right, listen, if you hit this one number in a million, you die.
Yeah, it's like, come
But
on.
if you don't hit that number, you get $1 million. I bet you 99.999% of people would roll the dice and try to get that $1 million. And that's basically what's happening.
And it's not $1 million. I get it. It's just your life, and everyone else's.
It's just your life, but it's also everyone else's life, and that's the only thing. If before, and I'm not going to go on a dissertation about COVID here, but the one thing that does concern me is that if we don't get to a relatively big part of our population vaccinated,
70, 80, right? Like,
I mean, I'd say 60 would be. We need to get to 70 to 80 for herd immunity, but there's probably 30% of the population that has already had the virus. That being said, there are some crossover too. So if you take 30%, probably at least half of those 30% of people will get vaccinated.
Right.
So we probably have 10 or 15% that will not get vaccinated and will be immune because of the antibodies. So we have to get to probably about 60% of the population inoculated in order to hit herd immunity. And my concern is that we're going to stall at about 40 to 50%.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. That's a big problem. So be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, people.
My Truth and My Life says, my name is Leslie from Tacoma, Washington, and I want to thank you, Brian and Lori, and everyone else in the crew for always lifting my day up. Picture coming soon from the coloring book.
I like it. I can't wait to see it. By the way, Tacoma is beautiful. You would love it, Jay.
I can already smell the air.
I mean, it's God's country there. I mean, just you're right by Mount Rainier. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's spectacular out there. We'll get there, yeah, for sure.
Brennan says, definitely coming back for a private tour, Brian.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's nice. I think the private tours are interesting, right? Because
they are great.
Because like today was really good with my private tour. Number one, it was a couple and their daughter. And they were great people, really, really nice people. Most all of our tours are really nice. But it was interesting today because nobody was here. Because Jay and
you're right.
Asis went out to a zoo to you.
Lori
went to go pick up something, and she was gone for like 2 hours, and then you went to edit. There was literally not a soul in the building.
Yeah, because like Jessica and all them, they don't get here till after.
So it was an interesting tour to be here. I can't remember the last time I did a tour with nobody else here. But it was nice. But at the same time, even when there's people here, you get obviously a lot more private attention on a private tour. But I like the fact that my private tour today, we're coming back between 5 and 6, so they're here now. Upstairs, they probably just left because it's 6 o'clock. But they were here from 5, 6, and I love that. That's what if I were going to do the Reptarium and I didn't own the Reptarium, I would do a private tour and I would do at least 1 hour of open hours.
Yeah,
because it takes on a completely different feel in here. The magic is different when people are here. So
and you get to watch other people do things. Like on a private tour, typically you're probably not going to like feed alligators unless you ask for that.
Unless you ask for it,
right. So. But you get to see little kids doing that, and that's a magical thing to see a little 5-year-old girl reaching up there. There's gators jumping out, like it's so cool, man.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. So yeah, please come, do it. It's awesome. Just keep in mind now, Jay, it's crazy.
I know
we are literally almost booked
solid,
2 months in advance right now for tours,
dude.
Almost. I mean, it's hard to fit you in unless you're willing to do an off like a Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
That's incredible,
or whatever
man.
The time is. It's like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday completely booked for the next 2 months.
And you extrapolate that, and you think like, is that possible that there would eventually be like a 6-month wait? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean,
it's not impossible. I know tattoo artists that do it. So.
Yeah, and that's what I hope that when we expand, we'll be able to do upstairs tours, maybe multiple downstairs tours. There'll be 2 party rooms. You could do, this is what I'm going to love, because we're doing the aquarium upstairs, right? Yeah. So there'll be aquatic upstairs. So I don't even know if I told you this, Jay. My brain's been buzzing.
I know, dude.
So you're going to be making a mural. Get your
can't wait.
Get your paintbrush out.
Baby, I'm ready.
So it's going to be all aquatic.
I already see it.
Birthday party room, just like the birthday party room downstairs. Yeah. Downstairs reptiles, upstairs aquatic. We're going to have stingrays on the mural.
Dude, here's the move.
Have a shark on the mural.
You know what we do?
Fish.
This is the move. Ready? Mm-hmm. So when we're starting to get ready to build things for the one side, because this is going to be before the aquarium, right? Because we go up, then 3, then over. So when we go to start building stuff for there, we got to go back to Dallas World Aquarium. Right, and I'll take a shitload of photos, pictures, dude. Yeah, because I could sit there for. I mean, that place was beautiful. I could sit there for 2 hours and take all the photos.
No, I love it. Yeah, I love it. So,
but
then people can do like, hey, do you want to do an aquatic birthday party, or you want to do a reptile birthday party, or if someone's like, hey, I want to do a reptile, and we're like, hey, the reptile room's booked now, but you could do them upstairs, and we can bring reptiles up, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
We could do anything. I mean, we could do anything. We're gonna have a fucking elevator. It's a fucking elevator.
Can you imagine?
I've always wanted a building with an elevator. It's weird. I have some really weird quirks. If you guys haven't noticed. One of the things that I've always wanted is an elevator.
It's not a weird quirk. I think that's that's a come up.
Yeah,
literally.
Like I want the everyday elevator. The everyday elevator, like my everyday Yeezys.
My everyday E25s.
Yeah, my everyday Yeezys and my everyday
elevator.
Yeezys, and and then I'm good.
John says, "Evening, Captain. Enjoying the short videos. It's the all important question." Godzilla versus Kong. Who wins? Godzilla, duh. Yeah. Isn't Godzilla 30 times the size of King Kong, too?
I mean, you would think that Godzilla has the upper hand.
Fire breath.
I mean, I realize Kong is kind of the hero, so to speak. I love King Kong and I love Godzilla.
You have to pick one. Can't be so nice.
Yeah,
Brian.
It is tough because those are 2 heroes of mine. I grew up on those.
Of course,
Gamera. But I don't know how it's going to go. I'm really excited about it because it comes out like this. Isn't it out today or is it next week?
I have no idea.
I think it's out today. I think it's out today. Yeah, Godzilla versus. I think it might be out today. Kong. Yeah, on HBO Max, and it's when's the release date? Does it say?
That's what I'm looking for right now. March 25th.
Yeah, it's today. Yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. So. Or wait, what day is today?
I don't know.
Today is the 27th.
2 days ago.
So yeah, it's out 2 days ago. So yeah, we can watch an HBO Max. So come on, James. I mean, you got to already know.
You already know.
Or John. Why did I say James?
And
by the way, every day he says evening cap. He doesn't say evening captain. He just says morning captain.
I like that.
So he always calls me captain. So I like that.
Becky Gallant says, I need to ask.
Becky, how are you?
What is the worst bite you have ever gotten from a snake? Sending much love.
And I'm always interested in Becky. I should be careful.
Man, Becky, yeah, I know, man. Becky, me too, man. Becky's
so Becky, obviously, we interact on Instagram too, and she has the same profile picture there, and I'm wondering, is that her?
Why?
I don't know because that's all. There's no other pictures of her on her Instagram, so I'm curious.
Is that you, Becky?
Becky, are you? Because it kind of looks like an actress or something like that.
You catfishing, Becky?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
You out here catfishing?
So, anyways, what was the question again?
and if anything, you look like an actress. So whatever.
Yeah, it says, you look good. If that's what you look like, you look good.
I need to ask, what is the worst bite you've ever gotten from a snake?
I always say the most painful bite. Now, keep in mind, I've been bit literally 100,000 times. And that's no underestimate.
That's not a joke.
That's like legitimate.
No hyperbole.
Because back in the day when I was, you got to remember that for many years, Lori and I were the only employees of BHB. I mean, we weren't employees, we were owners, but we did everything. We did all the cleaning, feeding, and so I'd say on a normal day, I was bit 10 times every day, like 7 days a week, 10 times a day. In some days, way worse, And that was for many, many, many years. That was that way. But I've never been to the hospital one time for an animal-related bite of any sort. Period.
Crazy.
No stitches. No anything at all. But I've always said the most painful bite was actually I was down in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia, and at my friend the Troy brothers. They work with black-headed pythons and womas and carpet pythons. And they took out this big big old 9-foot black-headed python that was like, and they're like, oh, this is super tame. And they grabbed me right in the bicep.
And they
right
wrench.
in the meat of the bicep. And it would not let go. I mean, they took out the menthol. They took out the rubbing alcohol. They took out, this thing just would get tighter and tighter and tighter. And so that was probably the most painful bite because it lasted about 5 minutes, and the entire 5 minutes I was writhing in pain. So, yes.
Yes.
Yes, Becky.
Brennan says, do you need a permit for Asian water monitors?
It depends where you're from.
Yep.
You know, some places you need permits. Some places you can't keep them at all. Like they're illegal. Other places you don't need anything. So it depends on where you're from. Check with your local municipalities, your state and local laws, and always abide by what they say.
Yeah, because even in Michigan, it's like by the county.
Yeah. Some places, like in the city of Detroit, you can't keep a reptile at all, period. Not a fish, or not fish. Not
a fish, not a bunny rabbit, not a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Even a pizza you can't keep down there. Trust me, they eat them quick down there. No, you can't keep any. You can't even keep a turtle or a frog, anything down in the city of Detroit.
Alex came back and says, Brian, you and your people are the best. Going to bring my fiance and Archer back up to see, or Archer up to see the Reptarium when he's old enough to remember. Can't wait.
Oh, that's awesome.
I made me want to cry, man. That's beautiful.
No, that's good. I really do appreciate it. We'll have a great time, and it's a blessing, you know. I mean, me and Lori and I talk about this all the time, about how blessed we feel to have, you know, something that's working so well. And that's the whole thing, right? It's like, listen, I could sit back right now and just make money, you know, and I've told you guys this, you guys know this, Jay knows this. I've never taken a penny from the Reptarium, not a penny. I don't take money from the Reptarium at all. So the money that the Reptarium makes just basically goes into like, okay, we're ready to make another expansion. We're ready to do this. And every time we've expanded, you know, I mean, the first time all the money came out of my personal money. The second time, about $100,000 of my personal money over the Reptarium came out of my bank to pay for the Reptarium. This time it's considerable difference, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like very little will be.
We're talking like
Reptarium
several
money.
$100,000 will have to be allocated of money that has nothing to do with what the Reptarium made. So you could sit back and I could sit back now and make money and just let the coffers build in the Reptarium, and that's our money. I mean, we're a corporation or an LLC. What do we got? Lori's over here. She's gonna embarrass me in front of my audience.
You got a sign of Brian's in the wild.
I got a sign of Brian in the wild real quick.
Oh, that's so sweet.
By the way, you can go to reptarium.com. You can buy yourself Brian in the wild or a coloring book. Thank you, Lori.
Or Bella merch.
Our Bella merch.
Join the army.
Join the army. Reptile Army.
Oh, wait. They don't know. They don't know.
These guys don't know about joining the army.
Yeah, y'all better join the army. Join at reptilearmy.com.
So yeah, you can go to join at reptilearmy.com. Get on a mailing list. You could just go join at reptilearmy.com and you can get on the emailing list. If you just send us just a list or hi or whatever it is, you'll be on the mailing list. You're about to get some emails about what the Reptile Army is going to be.
You'll be the first people to know.
And we'll go from there. So yeah, join the army. Enlist in the army.
Yeah.
By going to join at reptilearmy.com.
Stephanie came back and says, I'm French, Canadian, Irish, and Blackfoot Indian.
Ah, French, Canadian,
fancy.
Irish, Blackfoot Indian. Wow.
Sounds beautiful.
It does sound like a really nice combination.
Right?
It does.
Like nice super white and then like a nice caramel.
Yeah,
caramel. Beautiful.
Yeah, her feet are black.
Yeah,
which is really
which
weird,
is real cool.
Which is like, you know, like Mr. Deeds.
Damn, dude.
Ironically enough, one of my friends I grew up with was named Lightfoot.
No way.
Yeah,
really?
that was his name, Eddie Lightfoot.
Dude, I seen this kid, on TikTok the other day. It reminded me so much of Chip, bro. I got to show you after the
that's
pod.
right. You guys may not know this, but yeah, half my family is Native American. They're Odawa Chippewa. Odawa Chippewa. So like Chip Chaveo is his name. Is
Native American.
Obviously Native American. The latest edition, my niece is called Mimiguats. Mimiguats.
Yeah, which
and then there's Katori Lee, so some interesting names.
Sabrina says, "Hey Brian and Jay, you should get Jay Tingles We're both. You can't do JT because we're both JT.
Yeah. JT who?
On the podcast sometime. Fingers crossed for some Ivy babies.
Yeah, so we've talked about getting Jay.
Putting him in there.
Putting Jay on. We've talked about having Jay on the podcast with checking in, the Wednesday podcast, family podcast. Lately, he's been booked with tours.
Yeah,
when we've been down here doing the podcast, he's been doing tours upstairs. So Wednesdays have been busy. So as soon as Wednesdays slow down and we have an evening, we'd love to have Jay on because he's an interesting character. I think you guys will really like to learn. You guys love him, yeah. Yeah, he's a very likable guy. You know what I mean? Like anyone that met Jay that didn't like him,
it's probably their fault.
They're racist. I mean, that's all there can be to it.
Because he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, because he's just a very likable person.
Rosie says, "Hey Brian and Jay, advice for talking to the camera. LOL. My anxiety really messes with me when I'm trying to film. Were you ever nervous?"
So weirdly enough, I was never really nervous about the camera. I think there was a time when I was nervous about talking in front of people, like public speaking.
Right.
I don't know how I would do now after the anxiety that I've had. I think I would do fine, to be honest with you.
I think you do great.
But I hope I have that opportunity again. Just before COVID hit, I was in talks with one of my management companies about trying to do more public speaking at, like, say, colleges and stuff like that. So I really did enjoy that. But I think that what you have to do is when you're looking, and by the way, I've been looking at the camera most of this podcast. So I'm looking at a lens, it's just a circle, right? But when I do look at the lens, and this is my advice to you, is think of that lens as you're looking into a friend's eyes. And that's what I look at. I look at that like that lens is my friend. That lens is an eye that I'm looking into. I'm not looking at a white piece of or a piece of glass. I'm actually looking at someone I know, someone I care about, someone that I can connect with. And
really
I think
great advice.
That's how I feel when I look at the lens. I never look at it as a camera ever.
Antoine Izzard said,
Izzard.
Is it Izzard Lizard?
No,
Izzard. Okay, you just wanted to rhyme it. You got me all confused.
I was seeing Noah. He done that rap and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That rap stuff.
You got me now.
I want to do a rapper.
Antoine said, "What's your thoughts about breeding Solomon Island ground boas?"
It's funny. We had someone that had a litter of Solomon Island ground boas not long ago, several months ago, maybe 3 months ago. They're really cool. It's one of the first live. I think it might have been the first live birth that I ever had as a snake breeder when I was a kid.
Oh, that's really cool.
Was a solid. I think it was. I had 22 babies. I remember that, and I think it was the first live birth, if I'm not mistaken. Very difficult to get them to eat, honestly. And the person that bred them and was asking questions in the super chats over the last couple months, they were having a heck of a time too. And I don't know how it ended up. You have to really, stay on it and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's they're cool animals. I love them. Really big into all the Candoia. Obviously the Asper, the Vipers, and the Paulsoni, and one of the animals that you really hardly ever see anymore is Candonia bibroni, which is the tree boa from the Solomon Islands. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen one even being offered in probably 7 or 8 years, so I don't know if anyone even has them anymore. But interesting. Candoia are an interesting genus of snakes, but they are definitely difficult to get to eat as babies.
Little Bogus says, taking my boys to Phoenix in June, what are some easy animals we could herp for?
Oh my gosh, Phoenix is great. You know, I mean, obviously you got to get out of Phoenix. You got to get a little bit out of Phoenix, but there's anything from the Arizona black, rattlesnakes. If you go south, I mean, I wish you could go south, or over to the Chiricahuas. Because then you have all of the speckled rattlesnakes. Those would be really cool. But you have like Yuma kings there, which look kind of like a Cal king. You've got long-nosed snakes that are very common out there. You'll obviously get decay snakes like crazy in that area. And then obviously take your blacklight at night. Tons of scorpions, which are really cool. There's just a lot. I mean, it's a really good herping place. I mean, you can find a lot of stuff in Arizona. There are areas where there's hognose snakes, western hognose snakes. So it's one of the cooler herping. If you can get down to like River Bends, do some road herping and stuff like that. Really, it's worth the drive.
All the older reptile folks go there to retire. So it's got to be good for herping.
Yeah, all the old reptile guys go to the Chiricahuas to retire, so they can go and get all those Mitchellii and stuff like that. So it's it's the place,
the
man.
Mecca.
It's the Mecca.
Underworld Creation says, I asked a couple weeks ago if you were going to be at the Reptarium Saturday, April 3rd. You weren't sure. Do you happen to know now?
April 3rd is, let me just see, is that a Saturday?
Yeah, isn't that next?
Yeah, it's next week, but I'm just saying, I know that...
Saturday, he said.
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, I'll be here. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
see you then.
now keep in mind, we're going to be at we'll be in the podcast from 5 to 7.
Yes.
So I'm not here from 5 to 7. I'll be here from 4 to 4:30-ish or so, and then after 7 to 9, I will be here. I don't know, because I'm supposed to go to Grand Rapids that night.
Yes, you might.
So that is a tough one. I would say if you do the 4 to 5 o'clock slot, oh gosh, 4 to 5 o'clock slot. You can. I'll definitely be here. Everyone else will be here after that. And at 7, when I'm done with the podcast, I'll come up and say hi. So I'd say either 4 to 5 or 7 to 8 would be the time slots you should come.
I'm sure
if
they're
you want
already
to see
booked,
me in
though,
particular,
no?
they might be booked. But if you have a small number of people reach out to us, usually we can get 1 or 2 more people in and stuff like that. But
it's Easter, baby.
But yeah, because of Easter, we're off, and I actually travel to my daughter's in Grand Rapids on that day.
And that's okay, because you got to be with your family, right, baby?
Yeah. So we are going to probably, but not necessarily. Lori and I have talked about it. We may leave Sunday morning and stay here Saturday night. We're just not sure yet. We're still on the fence.
Sherry says, love the live stream today. Q&A all over the place makes it so interesting. Today's vlog was a hoot, and I look forward to tomorrow's vlog. Best of positive vibes and love coming your way for all.
Thank you, Sherry. I mean, you
So
always
sweet.
are a huge supporter of ours. And yeah, I think, like I said, hopefully you'll love tomorrow's vlog.
I know they will.
Yeah, I hope it just kind of keeps going. You know what I mean? So what's John say, Captain?
Oh, John says, now, Captain, I'm not the one to gossip, but are there more than one Godzilla? Is there more than one Godzilla did man make on? What? Won't spoil it, but you're going to be blown away.
Oh.
So it's going to be Kong, dude? That's BS, bro. You can't tell me a giant gorilla is going to beat a dinosaur, bro.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, either way, I'm going to love it. I'm going to watch it. I don't know that I'll be able to watch it. What do you?
I just want to see how big Godzilla is.
Godzilla's big. He's a lot bigger
compared
than
to Kong. That's what
but
I'm saying.
I mean, you see the picture, like the little promo picture, and
they make them the
Kong.
same size.
Yeah, they make them almost the same size.
Shit, dude. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah,
this is what you're talking about right here.
That's
right?
the old. Yeah, see that other picture of the old Kong? You know, right there.
This one, right?
That's, I think, how it should have been.
Yeah.
So that's like the real deal right there. You know what I mean? But I think they ended up in this movie making Godzilla and Kong the same size.
Sheesh.
So they kind of did whatever. But
I'm actually excited to see it, though.
I definitely will go watch it, because I think it's going to be good, and it's on HBO Max, so it doesn't even cost any money for us. So
sweet, that's perfect.
So it's free.
Free? Oh my goodness,
it's good.
Is that really true? Is HBO Max free?
Or is it? It's a subscription. Right? It's a subscription.
Oh, that's perfect.
What I can't remember how much it is per month, $5 a month or something like that, maybe even less. I have no idea. Yeah, we get it. I think I get it for free for the first year because of Verizon, if I'm not mistaken. But
Dope.
I don't think we paid for it. And this is what I've said about cable, right? Is like, I mean, cable's going to be kind of obsolete, because if you got like Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, Apple TV,
whatever.
Hulu. I mean, you're still only spending $50 a month, $60 a month
versus 190.
Yeah, instead of 200, and you got everything you could ever want. You know, I mean, because it's got ESPN on it. So you want sports, you want live sports, you got anything. You're good, man. Because you can bundle. I mean, I think cable's in trouble.
Yeah, I think and we talked about it the other day. I think Netflix is in trouble too, to be honest with you.
It could be.
Yeah. Brennan says, from the Thumb in Michigan. Thanks for the info. I love the Thumb. Port Austin, bro. That's like one of my favorite spots. I go there all the time.
Thumb is great. That's where I'm getting my. Well, I'm not. Not there, but Port Huron.
Yeah.
Where I'll be.
That's another one of my favorites here.
That's where I'll be getting my vaccine.
Good shit, dude.
Go
Take some time, spend time by the Black River, man. Hang out by that bridge.
So. I got it as soon as I'm done. It's 10:30, so I'll be there till like 10:45. I got to come back here. It takes me about not quite an hour, 45 minutes or so to get back here. So I'll be back here about 11:30ish. If everything goes well and I feel good. And then we got to film the vlog. And then I
forgot it's Monday, right?
Yeah, it's Monday. So we got to film a vlog. And then I've got not a podcast, but a live stream thing that I'm doing with a class.
Oh, that's cool.
At 4:00. And then I, whatever. So I'm booked from morning till night, unfortunately. So hopefully I'll be feeling good, and hopefully I'll feel great, and nothing will change what I'm doing.
The Invincible Man. Sammy Young says, just wanted to thank you for educating me so I'm not so frightened of snakes.
I'm so glad that you're not, and that's what we live for, or that's what I live for, I should say, is getting people over their fears of reptiles and loving all animals. And, there's nothing to fear, I mean, the more I always tell when people come in here and they tell me they're afraid of snakes, I always tell them, like, you do realize the opposite of fear is knowledge, and the more you know, the less you fear. Now, that comes from a guy that lives in constant anxiety, which is a definitely a oxymoron. But fear. I don't fear animals for sure. Animals.
Yeah.
Lots of other fears though that are all irrational. By the way, every fear I have is irrational.
Yeah. It's like so beyond. What you'd think.
Yeah.
Rob says, when will the Egg Time song return? My kids miss it.
Well, it's coming.
It's creeping up on you tomorrow.
It could
maybe.
be literally like any day. And then here in about 3 weeks, it'll be like every day, for a while, so we're about 3 weeks away from like crushing eggs.
Becky Glock came back and says, yup, it's me. Haha. New beach picture. Our sand is red here on PEI. PEI. We don't have white beach sand. PEI.
What is PEI?
Oh, God, if they had couldn't have just said it, right? What is PEI? Prince Edward Island. Oh, it's in Canada, right?
Island, Canada. Nice.
I've been there.
That's beautiful.
I've been there.
Well, good. Well, there you go, Becky.
Well, there you go.
The picture is beautiful.
Crushing.
So is the place that you live.
Rob says, also, why don't you show or breed venomous snakes?
So, I talked earlier today about, knowing what hills to die on, and that's a hill that Lori has really got a line in the sand on.
Yep.
God, that's a lot of metaphors there.
Oh my God, I know. It's like you're like a medieval sorcerer.
Let me tell you.
There's a line drawn in thy sand.
In the sand, and I will not die on that hill.
Yeah. Pull the sword from the stone.
Pull the sword from the stone. If you get it, you can kill the
there you go. Then you can get venomous snakes.
But no. No, Lori's really opposed to it. And I got, listen, I know I push her buttons a lot. You guys know that. But there is some respect there that I understand. There are lines you can't cross. And there are lines that become really disrespectful when I try to cross those lines. And the venomous thing is the one. Listen, I love venomous snakes. I'm a huge venomous snake
guy. We play with them here when people bring them
all the time. I've been out all over the world collecting venomous snakes. I've milked venomous snakes a ton of times. I obviously had a show on Discovery Channel about catching venomous snakes. So I love venomous stuff, but yeah, it's that's the one thing that I can't get away with, and I don't even push the envelope. I literally have no plans, nor I probably will ever have any plans of doing it.
It's certain.
Yeah.
Says, hi, Brian. Loving your vids. I'm a OCTV and alarm installer in London. I put my AirPods on and listen to your podcast. Absolutely love them and keep it up.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. I hope things are going okay in London. I don't know. I don't know much either. I don't even know, man. I don't even know, man. Yeah.
We're getting there.
Let's hope that you guys are going to be in good shape, and hopefully we'll be in good shape as well.
Sierra says, yep, certified jabber. More stores will start this month. So she's the one from Walgreens.
Oh, yep.
Good
exactly.
shit.
Oh, so you're a certified jabber. So tell me, if you get a chance, I mean, what's your, I'm getting Moderna. Should I be concerned? Tell me. You don't have to super chat. It's just if you get it.
Find out tonight at 11.
Yeah, tell me if I should be concerned.
See, that's it. You can't be asking nobody anymore,
I know,
Brian.
I need to stop.
That's what happened. I was watching the footage when we were at PetSmart, and you were the one that did it. You were like, oh, how was it? What'd you get? I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that stuff.
Well, I was asking the cashier,
I know.
and then the chicken line had to go off about how her daughter was so sick for 4 days that she didn't get the second shot.
Just don't pry.
Which is the worst thing
good.
you could do, like we talked about before, right? Is that, you don't want to take one shot and not get the second shot, because now you're actually going to be even, your immune system's going to be even, your immune system's going to be even worse for the virus, because now you have just enough antibodies to screw you when it gets in there, So, yeah.
Heinrich came back and says, Brian, I got my first snake, an amelanistic corn snake, and was wondering if you could give a quick talk about corn snake morphs.
Well, gosh, there's a gazillion.
What do you want to talk about?
It's probably
rivals ball
still
pythons,
the probably most polymorphic snake. Maybe ball pythons might be more now.
I think ball pythons
are probably more now.
But I see what you're saying.
But certainly the whole really genetic breeding for phenotypes started with corn snakes, really. I mean, they were the ones that were the first really that people started mixing. I mean, I'm not talking about, oh, there's an albino, let's produce more. I'm talking about, let's take an albino to an aneuristic and produce a snow. Let's take a stripe to a melanistic and
layers, right?
And start getting 2, 3, 4, 5 generation or phenotypes in to a snake. Corn snakes were it. And there was a couple reasons, because early on there were quite a few corn snake mutations that were brought in. Secondly, they were easy to breed. You get them up in 18 months. They have 18 to 20 eggs. They can double clutch. So in a relatively short period of time, you can flip them throughout. Where, say, ball pythons and some other animals take so long to get up to size, and then they only have 5 or 6 eggs, and then you got to raise another generation. So if you want to start getting into 3rd, 4th, 5th generation mutations, it's going to take you 12 or 15 years. In a corn snake, you can get into 5 generations in 8 years.
Yeah.
So it happens much quicker.
Cheyenne says, question for Brian. Can Kenyan Samboas be kept in pairs without the intent to breed? Maybe male, male, female, female. Thank you for being awesome.
Well, so female, female, absolutely. I wouldn't keep 2 males together because they'll probably fight a little bit. If you do keep a pair together, you're going to have them breed because they're very simple to breed. So don't keep a pair together if you don't want babies, but you can absolutely keep 2 females together without a problem at all. And if you want to keep a male and 2 females and breed them, you can keep those together without a problem as well. So yeah, you're fine.
Sherry says, had her first shot today. A little soreness at the injection site, but gone in 1 day. Second shot has me a little nervous too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope that I just have a little sore arm, because I can deal with the sore arm. I'm not worried about that. I just don't want any of the other side effects that very few people get. My friend Lindsay, of course, who's a nurse from Iowa, she's a jabber, and she says about 75% of people don't have any side effects at all.
Yeah,
and they get Moderna there. They're doing Moderna just like this. They said 75% have no, and she said then the vast majority of the other 25% have very minor side effects, like maybe a little tired, maybe a little bit of a fever,
headache, or
stuff like
yeah.
that, but very little, and it usually lasts 1 day. And the second one is a little bit more, if you have a reaction to the first one, the second one's going to be much worse. If you have no reaction to the first one, you might have no reaction to the second one, or you might have a little reaction, but it's not going to be as severe. So hopefully by Tuesday, I wake up and I have no side effects, and
no third arm.
Then I know that the next shot is at worst going to be mild.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle says, hey, Brian, first live I'm able to catch. Because of you, I started my journey of breeding ball pythons with the help of Lewis from LA Exotics.
Awesome.
Enjoy watching you every day. Keep up the great work, brother.
Well, first off, Kyle, thank you so much. Tell Lewis I said hi. Tell him thank you for being your mentor. Keep it up. And if you can ever think of anything I can help you with, reach out to me. I'm always here to help you. I want you to be successful, because I think the more people that we have in the reptile army, the better we're going to be in the future, because we all need to be united. I mean, there's an onslaught of legislation that's been pushed at us. Thankfully, this is my only concern right now, guys. I mean, I have a bunch of concerns, but one of my concerns is that there's been a flood of money into USARK. Certainly, we've helped that, along with Kev McCurley and a few other people, lots of people donating, which is great. And we've been pretty successful at thwarting some of the major problems that have happened so far, right? Some of the biggest ones that looked really, really damaging, we've been able to defeat decisively and quickly. And that came from money. My concern is that people then become complacent, and they stop donating, and they stop pushing, people towards that. And then now we're going to get screwed, right? So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Abadan came back and says, me again. Brian, how can I tell the difference between a BCI and a BCC boa? Just rescued a boa and would really like to know what she is.
Well, why don't you send us a picture? I mean, it's actually, obviously, the true constrictors are going to look more like
what you think it should look
like a red tail boa.
Yeah.
So a BCI is actually
Rust
not
tail. Almost.
Yeah, it's not it's a brown tail. That's why they really don't call BCIs red tail boas. They call them common boas.
Yeah, like boas, right?
They call them common boas is what it is. They're not really true red tail boas. Some people will say, I got a red tail boa. Truth is, if you have a BCI, you don't really have a red tail boa. You have a common boa.
To the layman, probably wouldn't tell the difference.
Wouldn't tell the difference, yeah.
But to a pro, you would know.
But send us a picture. You could send Jay it at Instagram.
That's probably the best bet.
You could send it to any of our emails, attention Brian, anything like that.
Tag Exotic says, getting first shot of Pfizer vaccine tomorrow.
There you go. Actually, Jay the Entertainer is getting his first shot of Pfizer tomorrow as well.
Wow, look at that,
so
brothers.
It'd be interesting to see if
Jabbin brothers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jay, they say the better your immune system, the more potential for side effects. So younger people seem to have more side effects than older people. I'm not young or old. I'm kind of in the middle.
Straight up.
So I don't know what to think about that. So but I think I have a pretty good immune system. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Jay has a pretty stacked day tomorrow with tours and events. So I'm praying that he gets jabbed and he comes to work and he feels great.
I hope so as well.
And that will build my confidence. If he goes through the day and feels good till the end of the day, it's going to make me feel more comfortable about my journey on Monday.
And that is it.
Wow, that's it for Super. So yeah, it's crazy. Well, we still have some more time, guys, so I'm not going to run away from you guys yet. If you have any other questions, hit me up in Super Chat. I don't know if there's anyone else saying anything about the Pfizer or the shot stuff. Jay's not going to show it to me. I guarantee you that.
Oh, I'm trying. I'm definitely not trying to do that.
Yeah, I know. It's better for me not to know. And the truth is that it's all going to be good. It's going to be good. And, but nevertheless, you guys, like I said, join at reptilearmy.com. Get on the mailing list. We've got some pretty exciting things happening there that are, I don't know. I mean, it's exciting to me. I've been working on it for a long time. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that whole adventure as well. And I think that, I want to just continue to inspire people to follow their dreams because that's what we do here. You know what I mean? And it's really crazy. Again, Lori and I have had these unbelievably deep conversations over the last couple weeks about this expansion, and I hope you guys don't get sick of us talking about the expansion. And I think that the expansion itself will probably dominate the vlog for the better part of a year. As we're adding on, it's going to be a massive undertaking. But I hope that you guys won't get bored with that. But Lori's surprisingly supportive of it, and we're talking about it's hard when you go and say, hey, listen, we've been working for the last several years and we're going to take all of that life savings that we have and blow it on one thing, and it'd be really easy to sit back and say, hey, listen, I'm just going to ride this out, like I said earlier, and make money. We've already spent the money. We don't have debt. Everybody that comes in the Reptarium, every dollar that gets spent is money that could just go into our retirement or whatever it is. And keep in mind, I tell people all the time, I'll never retire, right? Till the day I die, I will never retire. That is my retirement. When they're putting me in a hole, that's when I'm going to retire. But it is scary because, you get to a point where finances are pretty good. You feel pretty comfortable. Especially I live a pretty modest lifestyle, and you go, well, I could live a long time on the money I have. You know what I mean? And then you go, well, I'm going to take all of it and push it in. I'm pushing in all in on black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing, but I, it's funny because a lot of times I make Lori seem like she's the evil one, but she's actually very pragmatic and she's been unbelievably supportive of the whole process, so it's exciting to see her excited, and some of the ideas that have come up have been her ideas,
right? Which
has been even more interesting to me.
I mean, especially it's your partner. You want them to be how cool that is to have your partner in on something you like. You know what I mean? It's not common to happen. So that's beautiful. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's the thing. I think that Lori always felt that BHB was mine.
Yeah.
She helped run it. She was a very big
part of it. But it was your business.
But it was my business. I started it before I met her, even though we were teenagers when we met. I still had started BHB before I even had met her. Of course, she saw the growth of the whole thing, that it's made over the last 30 plus years. But the Reptarium was as much hers as it was mine. And I think that's what gives her more ownership to it. And so to do some radical expansion, not only into reptiles, more reptiles, 33% more space for reptiles, including upstairs, the alligator part. So you're probably looking at 40% more space dedicated to reptiles than we have now. But then to have this totally departure from what we've done and go into aquatics is really wild. You know what I mean? It's a a hard thing to swallow. I don't know much about aquatics, to be honest with you. I've always loved aquatic stuff. I've always been super passionate about it. I worked at a fish store when I was a kid. I used to have like 8 or 10 fish tanks when I was younger. But I'm far from an expert. So we'll be, obviously hiring an aquarist that is a pro.
Is that the actual name?
Yeah,
Aquarius?
Yeah, Aquarius.
That's hysterical.
Is the actual name of a professional aquarium person. Keeper.
Yeah.
Like at a zoo, you would have an aquarist.
I just didn't know it because, like, obviously the star sign Aquarius, so I just, like, made me giggle. You know?
It is kind of
because I know it's the water bearer, so I didn't know. Very cool. You want to get a couple supers?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, Baba.
Like Stephanie Berzou.
Hey, damn, super French. Dave says for that expansion fund, strong arm, need to come back up soon.
Thank you, man.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Please come up, definitely. And thank you for the help. We're going to need all we can get.
Cheyenne says, what kind of fish are you adding to the expansion?
So, I don't know the total answer to that, but I know that I want to have a giant reef tank, right? I'm talking thousands of gallons. And I don't think that there'll be any tank that will be less than thousands of gallons.
Yeah.
I think everything will be thousands of gallons. Some will be 10,000 gallons maybe. But I want a reef tank, obviously, with all the sting or the tangs and clownfish
anemones,
and anemones and live corals and all that other stuff. I want that for sure. I definitely want to have an eel tank, with a nice giant marine
moray
eel
or something.
Moray or something like that. I'd like to have.
We got to get seahorse.
Yeah, I definitely want to do a shark tank for sure.
Yeah.
You got to have a shark tank. I've got to do that. And I'm not talking about giant sharks. I'm not talking. We don't have the space for giant sharks. I'm talking about
lemon
smaller
sharks
that are able to be kept appropriately in the size of aquarium that we're able to do it. Obviously, a stingray tank is a huge thing, and then I want some fresh water as well. So I'd love to have a really nice discus tank. I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
I do think I want a piranha tank, even though I know a lot of people think that they're boring and stuff like that. I still think it would be a cool type of thing. I could see maybe archer fish might be really cool. I would like to have one big predator fish tank that has red-tailed cat, arowana, maybe even arapaima, maybe sturgeon, stuff like that. So, some cool freshwater stuff too.
That would be really cool. Yeah. Rob says, tell my wife Sarah to let me get more snakes, please.
Sarah, can you please
what the fuck,
stop
Sarah?
being such a bitch? No,
I'm let this dude get snakes, bro.
I'm so kidding, Sarah. I promise I'm kidding. But you should let him get into it, because if not, he's going to leave you, and you're probably going to, have a really hard time in life.
Yeah, it's you or the snakes.
Yeah,
snakes.
He's going to go on. He's going to get himself a young girl.
Yeah, she's going to be into a snake.
Yeah, I think Becky from Princess Edward's Island's available. No, I'm Becky. I'm
just selling her down. Her Instagram's at Becky Galal.
Come on now.
At PEI.com. Hell yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Kyle,
I'm getting myself in trouble now. I'm pulling a Noah now. I'm sorry. It must be the mic. It's the room. And
it's the room, baby.
The podcast room.
It's the tired.
Yeah, I am tired.
Kyle says, hoping to make a trip from Texas to visit the Reptarium this year.
Yeah.
For a Brian tour and pick your brain.
I would love that, and I'm always happy to. We can with Brian tours. That's the thing that's nice about them. We do whatever you want to do. You want to look at animals, we look at animals. You want to sit there and pick my brain as we look at animals, then you pick my brain. And
I've literally seen Brian tours where you guys barely moved because they just wanted to talk. They just want to hang out.
I've had them where we've saw a handful of animals and literally just talked about business or life whatever they want to do. So and I'm usually pretty liberal with the timing on those tours too. As long as I don't have a million things going on. Most of my Brian tours are an hour, and very seldom are they not at least an hour and a half, to be honest with you.
Wrapped around reptiles. I'm trying to see where their chat is, because they threw $25. I would assume they would have said something, but I don't see it. So if you did post something, post it down below.
Not up top.
No, it would have been. Okay. I have one here, but there's nothing else there.
I'm sorry, man. Well, let's see if you just hit it in the chat. If you
Jericho always sends them to me on Facebook too. So if you miss it, she'll find it for me.
Yeah.
Taylor says, "Hello there, Brian. Have you and Lori ever butt heads in regard to finances with your business? Currently going through that right now. Hope it passes soon."
We butt heads every day. Are you kidding me? We seldom agree because. So Lori is, like I said, she's very pragmatic, and so what happens is, like, I'm very whimsical, and I'm very, like go after your dreams. I don't care what the
repercussions are.
Yeah, I'm just more of like an action guy. Like, let's do it. Let's not worry about it. We'll figure it out. Let's get into it. We'll figure it out. What we're trying with this expansion is a little bit of a different approach where we're really, dotting our I's and crossing our T's before we do anything. We're trying to really put all our ducks in a row, which is smart. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, when you have a partner, in particular, when your partner is also your wife or significant other, you're going to butt heads, and it's difficult. And it's really about like, there are some things I'm very convicted on where I'm like, I am going to do this and I'm going to convince you it's the right idea.
Right.
And typically with Lori, like I said, with her pragmatic nature, I just have to convince her that it is smart. If it's dumb, then she tries her hardest to oppose it. And every now and then I can still kind of wear her out and she'll go forward. And a lot of times, quite frankly, if I have an idea and she's really opposed to it and I wear her down and do it, a lot of times it fails. Yep. And then it's kind of like, but she never throws it in my face. She's never thrown it in my face. No, because
the fact that it fails is almost a throw.
Yeah, it's almost like, I told
there you go.
But she'll never say I told you, but it's almost like, she was right about that one. I screwed that one up. And I've learned that she has a very, a pretty keen sense of what works and what doesn't work. And when she is convinced something is going to work, she's all in too. So I think that communication is my advice to you. Be very specific why you feel the finances should go the way that they are. And don't try. The other thing I would say is try to do your best to take the emotion out of it. Right. Yeah. We're emotional creatures as human beings. And a lot of my decisions are very emotional. Most of everything I do is based in emotion. And so it's important when you're getting into that type of thing. Like emotionally, I want to do 3.0 and 4.0 because I've always said, what have I always said, Jay? I built the place I want to go to when I was a kid.
Of course.
And I could think nothing more than 3.0 and 4.0 is like little Brian running around like the big, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
there's fish, there's this, there's alligators, there's reptiles, I would be on cloud 9 as little Brian running around this new place. But I have to also take the emotion out of it as best as I can and try to look at it from
logic.
From logic. Now, some emotion's not bad, because if you go like, is this the best business decision? Sometimes it's not the best business decision, but will it bring happiness? Will it bring some fulfillment in your life? Keeping in mind that nothing you do will ever bring happiness in your life. Only
happiness is already there.
Yeah, happiness is there, and you've got to embrace it. And that's something I'm working on very, very hard these days. And I fail most days. Yeah, I fail most days, but I'm working really hard to try to see if I can't find that happiness and grab onto it, and so doing this expansion isn't going to make me better. It could just be. It's just a
better place to enjoy when you're better.
Right, yeah. So keep that in mind when your emotion is like, I need to buy these 3 pair of snakes because if I do this, then I'm going to be this, and then I'm going to buy a Corvette, and then I'm going to be happy. Probably not going to happen.
Nope.
Take the emotion out. Do you really need that 3 pair of snakes? What is the business plan? Does it work? Was it worth sacrificing whatever it is to buy that 3 pair of snakes or whatever it happens?
Again, is that the hill you want to die on too?
Yeah, and all that stuff. But just also, and it may not seem like this in the vlog, but have respect for your partner.
Right.
And I do. When it comes to business decisions, I respect Lori's opinion a tremendous amount. And even though I'll joke around on the vlog, the truth is that we work relatively well together.
Oh, for sure. Stephanie says, I love watching the dynamic between you and Lori. You could see the love. Also, after 21 days, my mom finally came home on Thursday.
I'm so glad your mom's home. Man. That's awesome. Good for her. Thank you so much for updating us on that. And thank you for, it's an interesting dynamic working with your significant other for all your life. And you've got to really have to, I think the biggest thing the advice I always give people that do it is, because I've done it for so long, is really try to separate business from home. So we can sometimes really be butting heads at work, and then we go home and it's completely forgotten. Right. It's like, we'll worry about that down the road. And sometimes the next day you wake up and you never talk about it again. Mm-hmm. It's like there's no resolution to it, but it just kind of goes away. because it didn't make sense.
It's a good point.
I mean, I know a couple weeks ago, Jay and I took out Drogo against Lori's wishes, and she left very upset at us. I mean, first time I ever seen her yell at Jay.
Yeah.
And she left. She was really, really pissed, and I was really worried about going home. And I went home. She was sitting on the couch, and she actually ended up, like I walked in and she was sitting on the couch. I think I
you're like,
changed really quick, washed up, and she was in bed. She went to sleep and didn't say a word to me. I was like, oh my gosh. So I woke up in the morning. I didn't sleep for a while because I'm like, oh shit.
See, that's the worst.
And so I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I walk downstairs and I said, hey, I just really want to apologize. It was wrong of us to do this against you thing. And she goes, that's not why I went to bed. I was just really tired. And
you're like, shit.
And she's like, I know what you guys did. It was no big deal. She goes, I was just super tired. And I was like, okay. And that was fine. The end of it.
Yeah, that's fine. Simple Man says, what's the most expensive snake you ever sold or held?
So I've sold snakes for over $100,000.
Ball pythons, right?
Yeah, ball pythons. I can't think of any other snake that's worth more than that.
No, because it's a very unique time that snake was worth $100,000, right?
Yeah. I don't think that I.
All right, well, let's take away like investment ball pythons. Yeah. Let's go to just regular snakes. No ball pythons allowed.
Probably the Oenpelli python. Oenpelli's down in Australia. It's probably the most. Because it's such a rare snake,
How much? Like, I know you can't. Really
I think that Gavin Bedford wanted to sell me some with him thinking that he was going to be able to get permits to export them, and he wanted $50,000 a piece for them. But that was predicated on the fact that he could get export permits out of Australia legally, which I didn't think he could get. So would I have paid $50,000 for $100,000 for a pair of Oenpellis? Maybe.
Wow.
If they were legal.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I bred Oenpellis, $25,000 a piece for babies would be all day long. Like all day long. Every zoo in the country would buy them from me for $25,000 to $50,000. So it'd be a financially worthwhile thing. I just thought that there was little to no chance. And here we are now 3 years later, and Gavin still has not gotten the permits to ship them to anybody in the world. I don't know if anyone stepped up and paid him money in advance like he wanted me to, because he was going to use that money to lobby to get the permits. But if anyone could do it, Gavin could. But I think it's going to take him a number of years.
Rare Dog says, sending you guys a box full of T-shirts for the entire crew. I spoke to Beth. She knows that they're coming soon. Jay, I just sent you pictures via Instagram DM. Take a look. Let me know what you think. Don't worry, Beth gave me sizes. And I did take a look. She's actually she's part of the Wilbanks barbecue.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so she said she'll be our our little chauffeur that day.
Ooh,
a little hang around,
All right, Rare Dog. Thank you so much.
So we appreciate you.
I appreciate you. We're going to have a good time down there at the Wilbanks. What is the date on that? Do you know?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because this was the only thing that was freaking me out for a second, was that something was going on. Oh, yeah. You know what? Oh, gosh, this is stressing me out. I got to find dates because it's Lori's very big birthday. In the middle of January, July.
Yeah.
And I cannot miss that. But I think that when they told me the dates, it wasn't conflicting with Lori's birthday. But I did see that, and I was like, that's July. If I missed that, I'd be I'd
you're
be
shitless.
Done. Yeah,
you ain't get no fucking otters. I'll tell you one thing.
No otters for you. No otters for you.
You're going to be living out of your ass, dude.
Out of here forever.
Yeah, dude. Mr. True Shoe says,
True Shoe. Wow, I haven't heard this one.
I just walked inside to find my 3 kids standing watching you on YouTube with python eggs. I'll have to do a Brian walkthrough from Florida.
Good. Well, yes, please do. Please do. And
awesome.
I appreciate you guys watching. Tell the kids I said thank you and hi.
Oh, and then Wrapped Around Reptiles said, no super, just support. So they were the one that threw that 25 before.
Oh, okay, cool.
They don't recognize my business account. This is Bradley, Brian Cusco's friend.
Oh, Bradley,
what up,
what's
Brad?
going on, dude? What's going on, dude? Man, it's good to hear from you, man. Thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Miss you. Got to get you back out here, dude.
Straight up, dude. It's been too long.
Man. Come out and hang out, man. Life is getting good. Well, it was,
Yeah, we're there.
It'll be getting better
as
life goes on,
DC says, hey, love what you do. Question, I feed my 8-month-old BCC once a week. However, she is very defined and no fat. Is this still power feeding, not safe?
No, I think that as long as, with BCCs in particular, if they're not throwing up, you're not overfeeding.
Yeah.
Because they will throw up, But once a week's fine. It's completely fine. As long as it's holding it down, you're good to go.
Yep, keep that boxy figure, baby.
Yep, exactly.
V-Dog says, I'm actually really glad that you didn't end up getting the TV projector for 3.0 and 4.0. Because now we get to be part of it. Do you feel the same?
I think it was a TV project.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't see it.
I think so. I think that the TV show would have been better now that we're deciding to go up. And again, you got to remember when I'm talking about. We don't know for sure we're doing it.
Right.
There's a lot of moving pieces. We're just slowly.
It's just the dream.
We're slowly checking the boxes, right?
Yeah.
And the boxes are long. We've chunked down the first quarter, but we still have a lot of quarters to go. We still have 3 quarters to go before we get to the end check.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. This is the other thing I say in business is that don't pressure anything. If there's a lot of roadblocks in the journey to what you're doing, that often tells me that it's not meant to be, right? And so right now things are surprisingly falling into place. That would tell me maybe the universe sending the energy that say, hey, this is all going to work out. Let's keep going in this direction. But I won't if I hit that doesn't mean there's not going to be issues. There's always going to be issues. But if it's the city says no, this says no, this goes, you got blah 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 blah, and all this stuff going on, try not to force your will on something that isn't meant to be.
Right.
And but right now everything is looking good, and some of the biggest obstacles that I was worried about in the beginning seem to have worked their way out pretty easily. But we have a bunch of new obstacles. I mean, I think the biggest obstacle that is not an obstacle that I cannot overcome somehow, but will be very stressful is really the financial part, right? I'm expecting it to be very expensive, and that's going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
And I can't control the cost that much, what we're going to do is going to have to happen, and that's the end of it. But as long as the city comes through, and this comes through, and that comes through, and this comes through, and this comes through, that part is the financial part is something you just work your way out through it, and we'll get through the end of it.
Candy Spurlock says, hey, coming to see you on Thursday. My husband Silas, something like that, says watches you every day. We come from Greensburg, Indiana, and can't wait for our kids and us to meet you and see all the reptiles. What would the best snake be for a 7-year-old kid?
So I look forward to seeing you Thursday. It is a very busy week next week with events, so it'll be really fun. I still think corn snakes and ball pythons are the two best pet snakes. And we can kick the tires on both of those when you're here. We'll take out a corn snake, and we'll take out a ball python and a couple ball pythons. And
you know why I love ball pythons more for kids?
They're slower.
They don't move around as much.
Yeah, they're slower.
You're not going to lose it in the couch or something.
Yeah, because the kids with the corn snake, a bigger corn snake's pretty chill.
Yeah.
Smaller corn snakes are pretty wild, wired. So yeah, I think personally.
I agree, though. Corn snakes, ball pythons, just depends on what you like.
We'll talk a lot about that Thursday. We ask all the questions you want, and we'll find something that works out well for you.
Taylor says, having my significant other as my business partner has got to be one of the hardest things to navigate. I'm the frugal, practical one. He's not.
So, yeah.
It's good to have that balance,
I think that's maybe me and Lori, right? She's the frugal, practical one. I'm the visionary,
creative,
swing for the fences. Don't worry about the ramifications of what you do. You just go after your dreams constantly, no matter what. And I think it's important to be told. I know it sounds bad to be in the position you're in, but it's actually really good, right? And what I mean by that is you need a frugal, practical, pragmatic person, and then you need a visionary dreamer to partner. Because if you have two frugal people, you're never getting anywhere. If you have two visionaries, you're going to be broke.
Yeah, because you need to make those risk-reward things, too,
right,
which is something a frugal person would never do.
Right. But just remember, communication, huge, and respect, huge. Respect So one of the things that Lori and I continue to work through and have worked through our entire career is that I want her to respect my opinion as much as I respect her opinion. And oftentimes, and she's gotten much better at it, to be honest with you, as we've went in a direction in life that she's more supportive. Because it used to be like, hey, I want to buy. No. Like I couldn't even get out what I wanted to buy, and it was a no. It was like it was always no, and now I got to convince you to a yes. And so it's like, let's think about it, and then let's go forward.
Yeah.
And so just keep that in mind. Keep an open mind to everything, but continue to stay frugal and to continue to stay practical. Because if you're not, you're going to be out of business.
Yeah, be the yin to the yang, right?
Yeah, yin and yang. That's it, man.
Rare Dog came back. It's July 24th is the Will Banks barbecue.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Fuck
we're good.
yeah,
yeah,
dude.
we're good. Yeah, we're good. Because I think
you guys got to have a birthday cake for me because my birthday's 5 days after that. So
exactly.
we're
and it's a big ass birthday cake.
Yeah,
let me tell you what,
dude, I'm 6'5", bro.
You're 6'5".
I need a fucking satellite dish.
Can you get somebody that can jump out of the birthday cake for us?
Yeah, but they need to be even bigger than me.
Yeah,
like
so
Amazonian woman.
Yeah, like if you could find a really, really tall woman to be inside of cake, that would be great.
This would be perfect.
So if you can get that,
if not, I'm not
of,
fucking coming.
Yeah, if you can't do that, then don't even ask.
Don't even ask us to come.
Don't even come to the chat.
No,
anymore,
but she sent me. They have like little wristbands, like like the Livestrong bracelet type rubber wristband, and it says Reptarium BHB on it. It's really cute.
Oh, that's dope,
really
man.
Dope.
That is so cool. All right, I'll come.
All right, I guess we'll fucking. I don't need the Amazonian woman, I guess.
You could scratch the
but
cake.
Better have the fucking cake,
okay,
though.
but I'm coming without pants.
No, don't tell me. Yeah, but I'm not bringing pants.
Well, I'm not going to bring any pants. That's it.
Kyle says.
I was talking this morning, right?
Yeah.
I said, everyone in my crew has seen me in my underwear.
Yeah.
Wait, there's nobody in my crew that hasn't seen me in my underwear.
Why did you say that this morning, though?
Because I was.
Was that yesterday? That was
yesterday because I changed into a suit in front of everybody in my undies.
It was a hot
because I wasn't
suit.
going to go into the bar.
Dude, we're good.
Come on, man.
Literally,
Just give me a break.
it's shorts. It's all good.
It's exactly. But it does get a little weird when the female employees are.
It's always
just
an
like
accident.
walk up by
but it'll
accident.
be an accident. Like,
yeah, because it's like all our guys are around. I don't care. I'll get naked. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's all
and then
good.
all of a sudden, like, Genesis walks around. Damn it!
Damn it!
Come on,
Tinky Winky.
Yeah, you're too lucky.
Yeah. Kyle says,
I swear it's cold in here.
Yeah. It's not normally like this.
It's cold.
Normally,
it's
like a hammer.
It's 85 in the building.
It's 85 degrees. The water is 80 degrees. If anything, you'd be fucking slinging on the floor.
Oh, shit.
Kyle says, Brian, if you were to jump into ball python game in 2021, what genes would you invest in? Let's say $30K budget to start.
$30K. I mean, gosh, I think that it's a tough one, right? Because I probably don't play the game as much as I don't play the game as much as I used to, so it's really difficult. I think that there's two ways to look at it, right? Anything mixed into clown is very hot. So if you built a collection based around mutations of clowns that made sense for the future, that wasn't overloaded. Now the downside is that everybody is investing in clowns. So it makes you wonder, is the market going to shift at some point away from clowns? So then the next question is, what is the project you want to put into that makes sense? Like, I love the Monsoon project, but the only question I have with the Monsoon project is how many mutations are going to look really cool in, right? Like, I think an Axanthic Monsoon is going to look really cool. Maybe, obviously Fire Monsoon stuff and Enchi Monsoon stuff and so on. You can go down the list of, Enhancer or Desert Ghost Monsoon is going to look incredible. But then you start thinking like Banana Monsoon, probably not that neat. Albino, probably not that neat. So you got to start asking yourself, like, all right, if you get into that, I think
those are pretty, huh?
I think that you have to. They are really beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that you have to build a collection around a recessive mutation or a handful of recessive mutations. I think recessive wise, clowns are a must. I think monsoons are a must. I think tri-stripes are probably the underrated, animal that could be really big in the future. And then you build all these like incomplete dominant mutations into them, ones that are going to look really good. But, go for stuff that either you're going to be producing about the same time as a Justin Cabelica or a Miguel or a Billy or whomever the name is, or, Ozzy Boys, or you go for something that they're not going for, and then you're taking a little bit more risk that way. But I think that, $30,000 you can get a nice basis of really cool recessive mutations that have a couple genes in them that you're going in the direction. So I think you can do really good. But I think that that's the way I would build is because recessives are going to maintain, even though there's maybe a little bit of a glut of clown people, working with clowns, there's still probably going to be one. And pies too.
I was going to say, because it's going to be like pies,
pies
right?
and clowns are both the two. If I were going to build a collection on 2 mutations, it'd probably be pies and clowns.
I agree.
And then I would just build a wild amount of genes that go into that. Yeah.
Simple Man says, hope you all have a great night. Can't wait for tomorrow's vlog and for my Bella merch to get here.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you too, man.
You
always, you do so much for us. We can't thank you enough.
It's Kev. Says
Kev.
He says, not to bring the mood down or anything, but I'm curious to know which animal that you've had that you've lost took the biggest toll on you.
I mean, everyone, in all honesty, everyone does. I mean, certainly I think Sunshine was a huge hit for me. When she passed, it was really, really difficult. I think when Satan passed, it was really, really difficult. Obviously recently Taz was really, really, really hard, still dealing with that. Any animal that I have I have an emotional attachment to almost every animal I have, but the animals that I really, really get emotionally attached to are the ones that are really, really difficult, ones that I spend lots and lots of time with. It's just like anything. If you have a dog you're spending tons of time with, you're going to, have a lot of heartbreak when it passes. I think those are the top ones that come to mind, but I think that Sunshine might have been my first snake outside. I mean, listen, I'm not talking about like my pets from when I was younger.
Right.
Because, that's the whole another story in itself that you guys wouldn't even know who they were because you've never heard of them before. But I think Sunshine was like the first like pet snake I had that was like in the BHB era that was like really never a breeder. We never bred her. We wouldn't breed her. We weren't going to ever breed her. And then, of course, Satan, we had just this it's like the Lucy, relationship, but even worse because she always would bite. Lucy sometimes is friendly. Satan always would bite every time she would bite. And she was a pistol. And so, but that was a relationship I had with her that was really unique. And I really loved her and I knew her so much. And then, like I said, then Taz was kind of the first real animal ambassador we lost here at the Reptarium. That was really a big part of the animal ambassadors that have been such a part of the growth of the Reptarium. So those are the animals that come to mind first off.
Scottish Rob says, agree about balance. You're going to have to figure this out because I don't know what he's talking about, but just got 1.1 boas, hypo, RLT, D het, cow blood, RLT, sun dragon in the future with luck. Boas rule, best pet snake, LOL, best to you.
Yeah, I mean, I have
what is an RLT? I don't know
what
Red
that
line
is.
Something.
I don't know what that is, but
they
sound great. And the Sun Dragon stuff is amazing. Obviously,
we looked at it last snake.
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like you're crushing it. Whatever. I don't know what those the abbreviations of those are. I'm not that deep in the boa world these days, and but they sound amazing, and it sounds like you're really crushing. So keep it going, my man.
That's it, baby.
Appreciate you, man. So, well, listen, guys, you guys, as always, crush it. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everything that you do for me. Looking forward to sharing. Again, go to join at reptilearmy.com. Sign up for the mailing list. We'll be mailing some stuff out here in the next week or two, what the deal is there, and hopefully we can, really do some fun stuff with that project. Other than that, you guys have a great night. I love you very much. I do feel better since the podcast.
See, I told you, man.
So thank you guys. I appreciate you so much for lifting my spirits up. And
now
I go play with the Reptarium a little bit. We got one last super.
Yeah, Solid Serpent says, Bearded Dragon POV with Brian, and the bag was a funny bit earlier this week. Made my kids laugh. How are your mole snakes doing?
Mole snakes are great. Fast becoming one of my favorite snakes I've ever had. So definitely. And that wasn't a get. We literally used the bag. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we feel that poor dragon.
Actually, it was RL Dragons.
No,
is that who it was? RL Dragons.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I know what you're talking about.
The one that said bones. They actually said They sent me an Instagram thing, like a thing that said, I knew I needed to get some more plastic bags.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
And so
it's just such a crazy life,
It's
man.
just so crazy. So, but anyways, thank you guys. And I appreciate everything. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the vlog. Please watch. I think you'll love it. It's going to be a good one.
Try not to laugh.
Yeah. We'll be back on Wednesday with the Checking In podcast. Noah on Fridays. Show him some love. And then I'll be back here next Saturday. You guys are my rock. I love you so much, and have an absolutely amazing night.
Peace.
And see you soon. Bye.